Hello and welcome to another episode of Do Go On. I am Matt Stewart and with me, as always, is Jess Perkins.
Hello, Matt.
One of the best in the biz.
Jess's? Perkins's? Or
I'd
just
say-
in general?
No, just people.
Really?
Yeah.
In what biz?
In this biz.
What's this?
This biz? Entertainment.
Ooh, I wouldn't. Okay.
Bert Newton's number one. You're number two.
Get absolutely
I've just
fucked.
heard he died. You've been bumped up to number
I
one.
cannot be number one.
Well, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
But until Bert has a child, which he can't do now, he's dead. It's a weird system. Now I'm remembering he did have a child, and
He
I
had a
think it's
couple
a
of
bit.
kids and grandkids.
Okay, well, you might be bumped down again. And Jess, Dave
It's
did
fine.
He's fine. He
He's
didn't
fine.
show up
No.
today, which we're not worried about.
No.
And yeah, we weren't. We looked into it, so you don't have to. He is fine.
I just spoke to him on the phone last night, actually,
Oh yeah.
about how fine he is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I overheard you talking, and I heard you say that. Yeah, he's fine.
He's fine.
Which is great news. So, we asked him who is someone that he would love to see sit in his little chair.
Yes. It is a small chair, so it's kind of cruel that he's chosen a very tall man.
Yes, I think maybe he was being a bit of an asshole,
What a prick.
but he did say one name and one name only,
Mhm.
and we weren't able to get Bert because he is dead.
He is dead. We had to check it. He is dead.
But luckily, Marcel Blanche de Wilt is able to sit in the chair.
It's so small.
It's very small, yeah. It started as a joke, to be honest, because we
Do you mind if I move over to this other
I
chair?
do mind.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could stay in that chair, that would be good. And actually, pull behind the curtain. I'm sitting in Dave's chair right now. You're in my chair.
Oh, that's this butt groove.
Yeah, it's mine.
We match.
And it is sweaty.
We have matching sweaty butt grooves.
We do. It's very cute.
Jess started a dance craze years ago called the Butt Groove, and
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you forget everything, but yeah, that swept the nation.
Yeah.
Forgetting is usually a coping mechanism.
That's right. I repress it.
Yeah, I don't forget it. I repress still in
repress
there.
it.
I just pushed it down.
Oh, it's in there. And it comes out sometimes.
And just because Dave's on here, can I double check we are recording?
Yes, we are.
Great.
See
And-
that gigantic screen?
Yeah, I'm just only seeing one red light on that thing, and it made me nervous for a second. I just don't want to waste
One red light on this.
One
Marcel's
red
time
light.
on the board there. But that probably is for some other reason. I think that's the select button, which I don't really know what it does.
I think the fact that we can all hear each other in our headphones is very promising.
That's a great sign.
And see the sound on the screen.
Yeah.
Hey, Marcel, you've listened to this show before. You were one of the first to criticize it.
Yeah, you bet. I bring it up every time.
And
And you're still riffing. I gotta tell you, cut that out. I
And-
keep checking in. I listen to the episodes. I'm like, oh, still these
Too
dog
many
shit
riffs.
These dog shit riffs.
for new listeners, Marcel, early days, quite earnestly messaged me saying, really like the show, but could you cut the shit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially, yeah. And I apologize for it.
No,
I
you have, and we've all
I
moved on.
have brain chemistry undiagnosed.
But anyway, I'm taking the long way around to say you have listened to the show a few times.
big fan.
So you're probably in a really good position to explain what it is to new listeners.
Yes, indeed. It's almost like a school report being given. One person goes away and writes a report on a certain subject, story, idea, and then reports it back to the class. Ella.
Ella.
Praise
Ella.
be.
Ella.
Under our umbrella,
Yes.
and reports it back, and then the other two people do some hot riffs off the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not dog shit riffs, just hot ones.
Yeah,
just hot
yeah.
ones.
They never interrupt.
Marcel's definitely changed his tune on that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that I'm part of the family.
The other
Also,
two-
where was my invitation to the Golden Shiny Garys?
The Golden Shiny Garys this year.
I didn't get a phone call saying I won anything. It's just weird.
Yeah, you did not win.
I was waiting by the phone.
You did not win, but also the awards ceremony. The feedback we got from last year was self-indulgent. You know, over the top.
You said that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
The
so
feedback came from inside the building.
the feedback from me. I went, we spent a lot of money to give ourselves awards. That was silly. So this year
It
was
lost quite a lot of money.
Yeah. It was an
It was fun.
understated
I thought
affair
it was
this
worth
time. It was me playing the music off my laptop live. It was a beautiful understated moment. But yeah, you didn't win.
Yeah.
So just
okay.
be better on this episode.
All right.
And then, hold on hope for next year.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
the only feedback I can give you.
You could actively campaign at this point of
Oh,
the year
that's
as well.
cool. Yeah. So this one is open to.
This
for
will be
votes?
eligible. Yep.
Yeah. Great.
Yep.
Cool.
Best guest non-reporter, is that
That's
a category?
right. Yeah, it is. Yep. So, because I'm actually doing
Yeah,
a
in
report
case you were
this time.
about to tune out because you're like, Marcel's going to do one of his 3-hour Indiana Jones reports, don't worry. I'm just here as a guest.
It's that episode should be called "Do Spoil On," more like it. It's like
It should be called that. Should we go back and change it?
we should.
But it's my turn to do a report, and mine are always very efficient.
Yes.
She loves to edit. She cuts the fat.
Yeah, you're looking at your watch right now going,
Yeah.
I've got places to be.
I got places to be. I'm a busy woman. I have a couch to sit on. I'm very busy.
For listeners, they should know that the episodes initially that Jess does are very long.
Yes.
It's quite an intensive edit procedure.
Yeah.
To get it back to the hour and whatever.
It takes me 2 weeks to write the report and a full week, and I'm talking 12-hour days minimum, sometimes 18, to then edit it down. It's a bad way to work, but the results speak for themselves.
Yes, they do.
So,
The best reports. Did you win any awards?
I did not. I was close.
I think you're a guest on the best Who Knew It episode.
Yeah, that's true.
I think you probably won. I think we can't avoid winning awards on that show.
Yeah.
You've made it that way. You've constructed it that way.
Yeah, the fact that you and Dave both have spin-off podcasts that have their own category definitely helps, because then you've got one guaranteed. So I should.
But you're on all the Do Go On episodes as well that win.
Oh, true.
When are you going to have a spin-off?
I'll get there.
Oh,
Maybe.
man.
Is the
Stop
audience
putting that
doesn't
pressure on
think
it.
that
The
you have
audience,
spin-off
they
potential?
don't want it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely don't get comments being like, when
my
are you going to
gosh.
start your own?
Jess, do you know what you're inviting right now?
Oh, God, don't. If I get to it, I'll get to it.
People
if
are
I
gonna pitch
don't,
you things?
I don't. No, they're just going to tell me to do it.
Oh.
And that's actually the opposite of what you need to do to me if you want me to do something.
Don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. You have to. So one time,
Reverse psychology
Yeah.
works so good on Jess.
it really
Yeah, right.
it does. I'm stupid. One time I was watching TV with my dad, and there was an ad for an ABC show about like parents with really gifted kids, like they were like elite athletes at a young age and stuff. And it was sort of talking about that relationship and you know, the way that the parents pushed the kids. And I said to my dad, I was like, see, maybe you should have just pushed me more, and I could have excelled. And he was like, you can't be pushed. You have to be tricked. And I was like, oh, fuck, he's right. He's absolutely. My drama teacher in year 11 said, yeah, no, if she keeps going the way she's going, she'll be a B, maybe B+ student. And I was like, excuse me. And then I got a perfect score in year 12.
Oh, wow.
Out of spite. So, yeah, don't tell me to do it if you want me to do another podcast. Okay?
Hey, Jess, do a real bad episode of Do Go On.
Hey, Matt, fuck you. I'm going to blow your freaking mind.
Don't do your report right now.
Well, I'm going to start with a question. You dogs. Here's my question to get us onto the topic. In suggesting this topic, Myra from Melbourne referred to this person as the original White House wild child.
Ooh.
Who is this
Chelsea Clinton.
It's not Chelsea Clinton.
I don't know anything about.
I'm really not sure if you'll know this name.
Original White House wild child.
Yeah. So a
Herbert
child.
Hoover's daughter.
See, I'm wondering if it's actually a child or that's just an expression.
It is a daughter of a president. So maybe
interesting.
name some presidents.
Okay, so you did
Nixon.
Chelsea Clinton.
Not Nixon. Earlier than Nixon.
Lincoln.
Not Lincoln.
Somewhere between Lincoln and Nixon.
There was a couple of these in the presidency at different times.
Yes.
A couple of daughters.
No, one of the guys on the forgotten guy on the cliff face of presidents had the same surname as the guy in the wheelchair.
Okay.
LBJ.
Not LBJ all the way with him though. Lyndon B, a good option to suggest, but it's the surname is give me a letter.
You were recently in America. You probably.
Roosevelt.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
So it's Teddy Roosevelt, or Theodore Roosevelt, his daughter Alice.
Alice.
Oh, are we going to be talking about the origin of the teddy bear?
No.
Oh.
She was such a wild child.
Yeah, she loved to play with toys.
He had to somehow figure out a way to calm her down. That is where the teddy bear began.
That is how I talk too, so that's a pretty good impression.
We're over 400 episodes in. I would feel like teddy bear as an episode concept could happen.
I recently learnt that, and I haven't verified this, but I think teddy bears are actually modelled after a dog, a specific dog, the Chow Chow. And when you look at a Chow Chow, you're like, that's a teddy bear face.
Wow.
Well, see, here we go. Now we've got listeners going, all right, I want to hear this teddy bear
Well,
episode. There's
yeah.
already
Should put
two
it in the
fun
hat
facts.
then.
Put it in the hat. I'm going to go on a limb and say it's probably a Patreon mini episode. I don't know if there's that much in it. But yeah, this report is about the first child of Teddy Roosevelt. It's been suggested by a few people. Caitlin Clays from Newman, Western Australia, Myra from Melbourne, English Prevost from Brooklyn, New York, and Darylyn Atkinson from California. And yeah, it seems like it's interesting to do a report on the child of a president, but she lives a pretty fun life and she's a pretty fun character. So firstly, a little bit of background on her father. So Theodore Roosevelt Jr., often referred to as Teddy, was an American politician, statesman, conservationist, naturalist, and writer who served as the vice president to William McKinley and assumed the presidency after William McKinley. He was the 26th president of the United States from 1901 to 1909 and remains the youngest person to become president at 42 years old.
Right.
He's the youngest, yeah. And then that made me go on a bit of a rabbit hole because I was like, Barack felt young to me. He was 47.
Right.
But still, 42.
So you've still got time.
I've got time, definitely. Matt, way past it.
Yeah.
You, it's ticking.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to get my shit together.
You gotta
I'm
get your shit
going
together,
to
mate.
be president.
Yeah, you probably got to do something in politics first. So I'd get a move on.
And be born in America.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's a little bit constrictive.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree. But when I'm president, I'm going to change that rule.
You reckon you're going to be American president before me?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I've got the vote. I've got the numbers.
Okay. Interesting.
The college system favors me.
Oh, you like the Electoral College?
Yeah, because I think it's bad and rigged, which feels like that's got to help me.
That's got to help. I don't think there's many presidents who have shoulder-length hair, but also the sides are all shaved.
I do have a bad haircut. Is that what
I
you're
didn't
saying?
say bad.
Well,
I didn't
you
say
took
bad.
a long way around,
I
didn't you?
said unconventional for a president.
Okay.
I didn't say bad.
Well, I'd have to go back to the tape, but I'm pretty sure
Under
Lincoln,
my breath, I said bad. It's bad. It's so bad. Oh, my God.
I think Lincoln had something like this.
He had quite a decent beard.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be the first bearded president, that's for sure.
No, but there hasn't been a
Oldest
bearded president for like a long time.
Really?
Since Taft, I think, might have been the last
What?
one. Or Taft.
Taft. Yeah.
That's after Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Hasn't been another one since then.
I don't
They've all
think
been
there's
clean.
been facial hair since then, yeah.
People don't trust it.
That's wild.
It doesn't test well.
Because a lot of men look better with a bit of facial hair.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Or it
And I'd be
hides-
voting for a hotter president.
Yeah.
That's just me. That's how I vote.
Well, that's the thing. They're so hot, they don't even need it, the ones they get in.
Yeah.
You know, some of these racing guys
Yeah.
are studs.
Yeah. Donald.
Let's go back. Biden, hubba. Who else is there? Obama. Come on.
was genuinely hot.
Yeah.
Was he?
Attractive.
Obama's hot.
attractive
Is he
guy.
really?
Yeah.
There you go.
Obama's an attractive guy.
And he's got
Hotter
gravity.
than Biden?
He has gravitas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And he has a sense of humor. I like that about him.
And he's got power.
Oh, I like
Oh.
that too.
Push my button, then push the big red button.
Yeah.
George
That's what I say.
W. Fox.
Yep.
George H.W.
HW,
Fox.
Mega
Fox.
Fox.
Fox Daddy.
Yeah.
What the-
Anyway, this is where we've gone to from 42 years old at president.
We skip Bill Clinton because, ugh, he's an island man. Anyway, allegedly.
Yeah.
An island man.
The island.
No.
Okay.
That I don't think I want to
Dr.
know.
Moreau.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
He's part animal. They put animal parts in him. It's a quote from The Animal by Rob Schneider. Michael Caton was in it. One of his. And they put animal parts in you. Oh no, I put animal parts in you.
Michael Caton?
Michael Caton, yeah.
Wow. Anyway, okay.
They fell out afterwards.
That's disappointing. I
Bit of
love
a
Michael
shame.
Caton. Anyway,
Well, no, it's probably for the best. Rob Schneider didn't deserve him. Few edits early.
but we're having fun. Anyway, so youngest person to become president at 42 years old. Couple of other interesting anecdotes about his early life. So his youth was largely shaped by his poor health and he had debilitating asthma. He repeatedly experienced sudden nighttime asthma attacks that caused the experience, like the feeling of being smothered to death.
Oh, that is awful.
Isn't that horrendous?
I was going to say, like, that's the worst time of day to have it anyway, but that sounds really bad.
You know what could be comforting in a situation like that? A tiny little toy bear to cuddle up to.
That's true.
Okay.
I was
And
thinking,
thus the teddy bear was born.
Okay, we're
I
going
was
to
thinking-
get to that.
what about Ventolin?
Yeah, okay.
Harder. Yeah, more
Interesting.
difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty scary, but doctors didn't have a cure, so he just kind of had to live with asthma his whole life. Pretty full on, but he lived like a really active life. I think he found that like staying really active helped.
Right.
So he was really active his whole life.
Is this medical advice on the pod?
Yeah, if you've got asthma, go for a run. I think that's a great call.
I had asthma as a kid, and they did encourage being active, swimming and other things. So,
And now look at you.
yeah.
Picture of health.
I shook off that asthma.
Yeah.
I think you can grow out of it for some
Yeah,
reason.
I had a bit of asthma as a kid.
But is this nighttime is what's bringing on the asthma or laying down?
Yeah, hard to say.
Because if it was just the nighttime air or whatever, I would just become a night owl.
Yeah, be nocturnal.
Yeah.
Is air different at night?
I think it's probably colder.
Okay.
That's fair.
That's
Yep.
a good answer.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, inside I don't know if he has.
But if it's lying down,
Yeah, I
just
think
get,
it's gotta
get
be
one of
lying
those
down.
beds that lifts your head up a bit.
Yeah.
Or sleep like a vampire.
Yeah.
In a coffin.
Yeah.
But are they still lying down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or no, what about if they sleep like a bat hanging upside down? That'd probably be good.
Good for your lungs.
Yeah.
Any excess moisture.
Yeah, you just dribble it out.
Gross.
Oh, okay. We're saving a life, and that's gross to you?
The phrase dribble it out was a bit gross. The saving a life, very admirable.
Okay.
But dribble it out, yuck. He had a lifelong interest in zoology, and that began at age 7 when he saw a dead seal at a local market.
Okay, what kind of zoo is he thinking of?
After obtaining the seal's head, Roosevelt and 2 cousins formed what they called the Roosevelt Museum of Natural History.
I think his teachers put a positive spin on this one.
Well,
Oh, he's really interested in
He loves
zoology.
zoology. Having learned the rudimentary skills of taxidermy, he filled his makeshift museum with animals that he killed or caught.
See, this is the thing is like back in the day, you could be that weird kid in class and
Yeah.
still be president. These days, you could never.
Yeah, back then it was rebranded as an interest in zoology, but now it'd be like an interest in serial killing.
What are you talking about? Are you suggesting that everyone who makes it a president are of sound mind?
I'm not about. I'm talking about the value we put in children is what I'm saying. It's like, I'm not talking about presidency per se.
You're saying children don't have value.
I'm saying that all children should be stopped. I'm a sort of Trunchbull type,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I feel like they should all go to the chokey.
Yeah.
And that's when they're good for nothing.
Keep them somewhere
Yeah.
away from me
More chockies for me.
until they're like, what age? 17, 18? Even then, I've got
40,
nothing to talk to you about.
42, president age.
What are
yeah.
you, bloody Leonardo DiCaprio? No, that doesn't quite work.
It doesn't quite work. I'm not talking about dating them.
Okay.
And even then, his cutoff is 25.
Right.
Yeah.
At least their brains are fully formed, you know? Just.
Okay. That's his cut off, not his cut on, though. I think he'll go 18 to 25.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. You're
Cut
right.
on.
It's not
You
gonna
never
be-
hear about people's cut on
You
age.
never do. You're absolutely right. I was wrong there. And gross.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's killing and catching animals and stuffing them.
And thus the teddy bear was
And
born.
thus the teddy bear was
that
born.
makes sense.
Well, he needed some comfort because his father suddenly died in 1878, and he was absolutely devastated. He inherited from his dad $65,000. In today's money, that's the equivalent of nearly $2 million. Enough wealth on which he could live comfortably for the rest of his life.
So you're saying he was
okay.
a self-made man?
Oh no, he comes from money.
There's some of that famous Stuart sarcasm.
It's the thing is, it's so rare from Matt that you miss it sometimes.
Yeah.
Sorry, Marcel, you might not understand this. I don't know if you're into joke writing or...
Jokes. Okay.
Doctoring.
But what that's called is comic irony.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, let me write this down.
It's just a little tool in my belt that I'll whip out every now and then.
And it is a literal belt.
It is a literal belt, yeah. I do have a hammer that says comic irony.
It's bulky.
Yeah. And I will hit you over the head with it.
You're holding them over my head right now in a very threatening fashion.
So he graduated from Harvard in 1880 and then attended Columbia Law School, but found law to be irrational, eventually leaving Columbia and entering politics, a much more rational place.
Yeah, the law is an ass. That's a phrase I've coined today.
The law is an ass.
The law is an ass, and what an ass. A real peach. Real bubble butt. Love that law ass. What an ass!
Oh, you're bringing out your Pacino this early on the pod.
You do this sometimes and it's mean. You're just letting me go. I know what you're doing.
I was supporting you. I was smiling and nodding.
It took me a little while before I realised that you were giving me enough rope and appreciate it.
You said the law is an ass. And I went, okay.
Isn't
and
that
then
a saying?
off you went.
Is that not a saying?
The law is an ass.
You're going to Google it?
I might be misremembering.
And then you went off about bubble butts and peaches. At what point am I supposed to help you?
No, that is an expression. The law is an ass.
The law is an ass.
Okay. I mean, I'm very much in the Jess camp here in that I was just watching and learning.
It's fun to let you go sometimes. Hey, the little life raft is always there, but you got to get yourself into it. I'm on the big ship. I've thrown you the ring.
Yeah, but nowhere near me.
And you're splashing around near the ring. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to. Once he holds onto the ring, I'll reel him in, but I can't do anything
Splashing
before
around near the ring of the ass.
that. What an ass. So he leaves Colombia. He goes into politics. The same year, on his 22nd birthday, he married 19-year-old socialite Alice Hathaway Lee.
So we're assuming that 19 is his cut on?
That's his cut on.
Yeah. Okay.
She's a banking heiress as well, so she comes from money too. According to Wikipedia, that's like it's a website that details like the lives of presidents.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
What is it? Latin or something? Wiki.
I think so. Yeah, wiki meaning like leader.
Leader.
Pedia meaning
Walking.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Leader walking.
Leader walking. I think it's German actually.
Oh, okay. So, this is up there with stupidest episodes ever.
You know what the problem is? We're having a little coffee.
We're having coffee and there's no Dave.
There's no Dave. Yeah, we need Dave, but
Dave grounds us.
You guys don't need
Marcel's
Dave.
got a bit of a Dave.
I can Dave
quality.
you guys up if you guys need to be Daved.
why? Nah, but we're having fun.
Yeah.
When the cat's away.
Dave just kills the fun.
Yeah. I mean, I was about to write that as a bit of feedback for a future. I was going to message you guys on Facebook to say, have you thought about getting rid of Dave?
Yeah.
It is funny how we talk about Dave when he's not here. Like, he's this straight-laced nerd who's always, hey, guys, let's get back to the topic. Where he's like...
Hey, guys, let's get back to the chapter.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the stupidest people you'll ever meet.
Yeah, and the one who is generally going, guys, come on, is me.
He's the dad of the podcast. Are you the mummy of the podcast?
Wait, what does that mean? What am I? I'm the weird uncle, aren't I?
The weird uncle.
You're the weird uncle. Yeah. I guess I am the mummy because I do remind Matt to eat sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I needed you this morning because I ran out of time.
And before we get in the car, I always go, does anyone need to go? Do you need to go to the toilet?
Safety wee?
We're not stopping. Anyway, I'm a lot of fun. So
I piss my pants in Justin's car a lot.
I have to put down those like puppy pads. People think I buy them for my dog, but he is toilet trained.
That's not true.
No, he does sometimes piss inside. Anyway, so I was talking about Alice, the banking heiress, and Teddy's wife. Standing 5'6", she had blue-grey eyes and long, wavy golden hair and was described as strikingly beautiful as well as charming. Her family and friends called her Sunshine because of her cheerful disposition.
Oh,
she sounds lovely.
That is really nice, but what a cumbersome nickname.
Sunshine.
Hey, Sunshine. Don't you think that's a weird...
I mean, because you're
syllables.
so sarcastic that you feel like that sort of name would only be said in a sarcastic tone.
Well, I think it tends to be like a pejorative sort of name for someone. You know, hey, you right there, Sunshine? You know, it's like...
Yeah,
it's
sure.
not, I don't think it's normally a positive kind of thing.
I feel like this description of Sunshine feels like someone who wrote their own bio. Like, it's only good stuff. Like,
Yeah.
she's super cool.
She's really beautiful, but it's not just about her looks, which are incredible. She's also really nice.
Yeah. Like,
And
okay.
all of her friends call her Sunshine because she's just like so lovely and cheerful.
Yes.
Who would write that about themselves? I think people writing bios of themselves would probably be harsher.
But comedians who write
Jess Perkins
bios,
is okay.
always have to be like, really funny.
Yeah, award-winning.
Award-winning. What award? Don't worry about it.
You like to skewer comedian tropes on your
Yes, I
Instagram
do.
channel.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever done the one about, which I see comes up a lot, comedians doing their bios and then breaking the fourth wall or whatever by saying, it's certainly not me typing it or whatever.
Yeah, well, I haven't done that, but the one I do not like is the one on the posters where people will do 2 real quotes and then one silly one. And like the silly, it's always like, so you get like the Guardian, someone's blog, and then the last one is like, needs to clean up after themselves, their mum.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, yeah, right. And it was funny the first couple of times, but now people think that they're the first person to have done it. It's like, all right, we need a new thing.
Yeah.
It's tricky, those things that are the cliches, though, because someone did come up with it. And if it is funny in a vacuum or funny as a first off, then maybe you should have a website of cliches so people can, check off before they. You have a poster section. This has been done.
Don't do this. Yeah. Well, for the record, all of my things are done with love. They're like, I see this a lot.
It doesn't come across that way, but he does swear. I watch those and I'm like, this fucking guy. Here we go. Okay.
Hold on, is this all just a call out? Is this a gotcha pod?
The comedy dictator's in. Let's see what royal decree's handing it down today. What aren't we allowed to do anymore?
I get a lot of lovely feedback for those videos. I'll have you know.
Yeah, and a lot of people behind your back going, this fucking
definitely.
guy.
I'm sure there are.
But the beauty of putting yourself in that position is everything you ever do is fully original on stage, and you never slip into any sort of...
never do. I'm only a unique butterfly.
You definitely
they call me sunshine.
You must have started to feel more pressure on...
Not so much on my own stuff, because it's all a taste thing. It's like, oh yeah, this is just to my taste. So these are some comedy pet peeves. But what has happened is now people come off stage and go, oh yeah, that's right. I asked people who was on the apps, and I'm sorry. It's okay.
It's okay.
Wait, is it okay? Because your videos make it seem like it's not okay.
Please check out my Instagram, Comedy Writers Group, and you can see what Matt's talking about and how gentle I am.
Yes,
it's very gentle.
I've learned a lot. But it has cut my act down from 50 minutes to 5.5.
Anyway, Jess, do go on. So, that came off the back of Sunshine.
I'm really sorry. Should I stop drinking this coffee?
I think, no, keep drinking it and that'll block your mouth.
Okay. Someone once said...
So, later writing of their first encounter...
Someone once said...
No. Later writing of their first encounter... Roosevelt said, as long as I live, I shall never forget how sweetly she looked and how prettily she greeted me. So he was really besotted by her. And no one cares what someone said. He had proposed in June of 1879 and she'd waited 8 months before accepting.
Whoa.
Power play.
Wow.
That's how they have to used to do it.
Left on red.
I think there was something about, there was a whole different set of rules around it, social etiquette that you couldn't be too quick to say yes. It had to be a courting thing, and you had to. But that sounds like it led to guys thinking they had to keep asking, which must have been annoying for the women. Who are like, no, I'm not doing a flirty game here.
Yeah. It's a no.
Okay, got ya. Wink. He says.
I'll be back next week. No. Yeah.
Courtship, as in I've caught you.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yes. Yeah. When Alice became pregnant in the summer of 1883, the Roosevelts planned for a large family and bought land for a large family home near the Roosevelt summer home called Tranquility, which was in Oyster Bay in New York. So they're starting their family. They're excited. On February 12th, 1884, Alice gave birth to their daughter, Alice Lee Roosevelt.
Oh, this is who the report's about. We're only just getting to it.
I know.
Sorry.
It's been half an hour.
Sorry, Bob.
So that's why nobody cares what somebody said one time.
Do you want me to tell you what they said?
I don't. Okay. So Teddy was in Albany on business and hadn't expected the baby to be born for another few days. In fact, he thought the baby would be coming on the 14th. Because that was like 3 years since they got engaged, or their engagement was announced. So he was like, "That's when the baby will come." And that's how babies work.
Someone whose life has gone pretty well, who's going, well, obviously, on the I'll be able to guess when this happens because everything always goes as I want it to go.
I'll be able to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was away on business. He received a telegram the morning of the 13th because the baby was born like 8 o'clock at night or something. He gets a telegram the next morning saying the baby's been born. And he's like, great, okay. I made arrangements to leave that afternoon to be with his wife. But another telegram came in informing him that his wife was quite ill.
Oh.
By the time he got home around midnight, she was in a semi-comatose state. Sadly, tragedy struck the family 2 days after baby Alice's birth when Alice's mother died suddenly.
Oh, that's
Sunshine?
awful.
Sunshine died.
I feel bad about being mean to her now.
Were you mean to her?
I don't know. I just thought it was all a lie that she wasn't actually nice.
She wrote her own bio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so brutal.
I know. Well, it gets a bit worse, to be honest.
Oh.
It was later discovered she had an undiagnosed kidney disease, and that very same day, Teddy's mother, Martha, also died.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
shit.
So he loses his mum and his wife in the same day, and they lived with his mum because she was widowed. They lived with her.
And
so
thus
she
the
had
teddy bear was born.
And thus the teddy bear was born because he needed comfort.
Yeah.
No, she had typhoid fever, and then his wife had Bright's disease. It was a kidney disease. So he's obviously
Typhoid
absolutely-
fever, that's when you get really into typhoid, isn't it?
typhoid.
Yeah. Man, I love typhoid. I got typhoid fever. But it can be a bit much for some people.
If they don't balance out the...
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to have other stuff in your life too.
So he's gone from everything going right for him always to just the opposite of
Yeah.
that.
And that's
right.
the thing. Even if you're super rich, you can still have hard times. That's a good
Wow.
lesson. Yeah.
That actually, yeah, that means a lot to me. That makes me feel a bit better. Thank you.
As a rich person.
No, that rich people can
Oh,
suffer.
okay.
Can suffer. It does make me feel pretty good, yeah. So he's obviously absolutely distraught. He was so distraught, in fact, he couldn't bear to speak of her. He never spoke
couldn't
of his wife.
bear?
He couldn't teddy bear to speak of her. He almost never spoke of his wife again. He wouldn't allow her to be mentioned in his presence, and he even omitted her name from his autobiography.
Oh my God.
Like, he just really
What
buried
an
it.
Interesting way to deal with it.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
bizarre. You got to process. Hey, men out there, omitting your dead wife's name from your autobiography is not dealing with it.
I will haunt the fuck out of Aiden if he omits my name.
So my wife's writing an autobiography. I'm dead. I'm a ghost. I'm watching her write it over her shoulder.
And bloody probably critiquing.
Yeah,
eh?
probably critiquing it and be like, a few too many cliches in there.
Yeah.
What are you introducing in Act 1 that you're going to pay off in Act 3 sort of thing? But
Yeah.
if I'm waiting for my name to come up, and if
Yeah.
it's not coming up, I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Excuse moi?
Did I mean nothing to you?
Yeah, that's bizarre.
And I think, honestly, Marcel, because I know you and your wife, I don't think you mean anything to her.
Yeah. And
Just letting you know.
Yeah.
Friend to friend.
I got distracted for a second because I just came up with a great screenplay idea called The Ghost Writer, and I'm actually a ghost. It's like we've got a double meaning.
That's good stuff.
That's good. And you could also get around on a motorcycle with a head on fire.
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
Do you think Marvel would get upset?
Why?
I don't know.
Because I came up with an original idea. Yeah, they probably would. Because they've been hopeless lately.
All that he ever wrote about her was a little tribute that I have here. She was beautiful in face and form and lovelier still in spirit. As a flower she grew, and as a fair, beautiful young flower she died. Her life had been always in the sunshine. There had never come to her a single sorrow, and none ever knew her who did not love and revere for her bright, sunny temper and her saintly unselfishness. It sounds like she was actually quite nice.
Yeah.
It wasn't just her writing her own thing.
I wish she was still around.
I've never heard a temper described like that. Like, as a temper just feels like it is like the angry got a temper, but a sunny temper.
Sunny temper.
Is that like just a shortening of temperament or something?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And we've just over the years, it's evolved down to just being angry temperament. Interesting.
Yeah. He goes on saying,
Haggard's language.
language, so beautiful. Oh, simply adore language.
Language, that's, how asthmatics speak.
Fair, pure, and joyous as a maiden, loving, tender, and happy. As a young wife, when she had just become a mother, when her life seemed to be just begun, and when the years seemed so bright before her, then by a strange and terrible fate, death came to her. And when my heart's dearest died, the light went from my life forever.
So he didn't write about her in his book, but when did he write this?
I think that was sort of it was like a diary entry they found.
Right.
A napkin.
Yeah, and that's like really lovely.
Oh,
what he's
man,
doing. And
put that in the book.
he's obviously just ruined.
Yeah. He's just dealt with it in a heartbreaking way because it just sounds like he probably hasn't really dealt with it.
Go to therapy, men.
Yeah. And a different time.
What, you mean all men?
I'm saying any future presidents
Are
listening.
you here for big therapy?
Yeah.
You've been pushing this pretty hard, mate.
I forgot this was a big Scientology podcast. This is brought to you by Big Scientology.
It's Scientology anti-therapy.
Yeah.
Huh.
Don't be coy now. I know you've been talking to Tom.
Talking to Tom. We did an episode on Scientology a while ago. I don't remember that coming up, but I also don't remember much about it at all.
I think I did it, and I don't remember it.
Good app.
Yeah, no, it was a good one. Teddy couldn't even bear to mention his wife's name. And he's Teddy Bear.
Yeah, I just wanted you to pause because Marcel was.
Hang on!
I'd done that one.
Shut up!
I'd done that one already.
And
you got a real bear in your bonnet, don't you?
obviously, his daughter Alice shares a name with her mother, so he wouldn't say his daughter's name.
Hold on, is this real?
Yep, he called her Baby Lee instead of by her first name, and this actually continued her whole life. She was more often than not, she preferred to be called either Mrs. Lee, but not Alice.
That's not.
She got called
cool.
Baby Lee like most of her youth.
I'm expecting that's going to affect her in some way.
I guess so. For this report, I'll call her Alice because I'm not going to talk about her mother again. But it's already been confusing.
Because you're too upset.
I'm very upset by the death of Sunshine.
They do that a lot in the olden days, just go by middle names and other names.
Yeah, I guess so. But also something you don't hear of as much. Teddy's like he's a junior. You hear of like boys being named after their fathers, but less and less about girls being named after their mothers. I think that's kind of nice. Anyway, so Teddy's a bit of a mess after the death of his wife, and he retreated from his life in New York and spent 2 years living on his ranch in North Dakota and left his infant daughter in the care of his sister, Anna, known as Bamie or Bai. Again, they had like...
Bamie.
I explained both of them here.
Baby and Bamie.
Her Wikipedia page explains the nicknames. I like the reasoning behind one of them. Her childhood nickname was Bamie, a derivative of like Bambina. It's probably Barmy maybe. Barmy, which is just Italian for baby girl. But as an adult, her family began calling her Bai because of her tremendous on-the-go energy. Because they'd be like, "Hi, Bamie, bye, Bamie." So they just called her Bai because she's always on the go. I thought that's pretty funny.
I mean, it'd be sad when sometimes you are arrived and they're like, bye. You're like, I actually want to stay this time, but
no, I like set aside the whole day.
Okay, bye. Thank you. Thank you, though.
Oh, no, like, I'm happy to, I see lunch has been prepared. I could stay for the, okay.
Bye, baby.
All right. Bye, baby, bye. So baby Alice is left in the care of her aunt, who took a watchful eye over her niece, moving her into her book-filled Manhattan house. Bamie had a significant influence on young Alice, who would later speak of her very affectionately. She said, if Auntie Bai had been a man, she would have been president.
Oh, shit.
She's a really, really intelligent, very, very cool lady, and she comes up a little bit throughout it as well. So after Teddy spent a couple of years on the ranch.
What do you think he's doing on this ranch?
Just thinking, feeling, ranching.
Did he invent ranch dressing?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, which is very popular over there, isn't it?
Is that what this report's about?
This is about ranch dressing.
That's what he did every morning.
He dressed the ranch. Dressed for the ranch.
Yeah.
That's nice. You got to dress for the ranch
you
want. What's wrong with us?
I think it's great. You know how you feel bad sometimes? Like I felt a bit bad when you said if she was a man, she would have been president. I'm like, oh, it's so great those days are behind us.
Yeah.
As the resident feminist.
Yeah,
on the
now
podcast.
we have women presidents all the time.
All the time. And
constantly.
It's actually getting
too many.
It's getting a bit boring now,
I think
isn't
we've
it?
overcorrected.
Yeah. Let's get the men back in.
Yeah.
Okay? They're not as emotional because anger's not an emotion. So Teddy comes back to real life and he remarries. He marries a woman named Edith Kermit Caro.
Oh, cool name.
Wow.
Incredible name.
Kermit.
They get married in 1886 and then Alice goes back to live with her father and her stepmother. I think she's only like two or three.
It's interesting that names that get so popular like that, it just kills it as a name. Adolf, Kermit, Barbie. You just don't hear those names anymore, but they were just normal names at the time.
Barbie was in a movie.
Oh,
quite recently.
Oh, right. Okay. Barbie's still around. Bad example.
Yeah.
But
any other names? Ken?
I reckon
Oppenheimer. You don't hear that one.
You don't hear that much.
Merv Hughes, I reckon maybe might have been the final Merv.
Yeah, you don't meet many Mervins.
He is Merv.
Well, what do you think of this, though? Because through this marriage, Alice had 5 half-siblings. So we have Theodore III, Kermit, Ethel, Archie, and Quentin.
And thus Archie Comics was born.
And Kermit the Frog.
and
The
Quentin
Roosevelts are a
Tarantino.
very, very influential family.
One of my favourite songs from last year was called Ethel, maybe, and that one,
Wow.
yeah.
You think it was named after her?
Yeah.
Ethel Roosevelt.
Yeah, it could have been.
Could have been.
Could have been.
Prove that it wasn't.
Yeah.
I can't.
I didn't listen to the lyrics.
I'll come back and do a Patreon episode about Ethel the song.
Thank you. Unfortunately, the relationship between Alice and her stepmother was a bit of a tense one. Edith had known Alice's mother and made it clear that she regarded her predecessor as a beautiful but insipid, childlike fool.
Oh, sunshine.
Edith once angrily told her that if Alice Hathaway Lee had lived, she would have bored Theodore to death.
Oh.
But he was like
Whoa.
obsessed with her, so happy to start a family with her. He loved her. I find it so interesting. Like, it's such a wild thing to say about a woman whose nickname was Sunshine, but who's also dead and is not a threat to your marriage.
This is the stepmother being mean to the previous mother.
This has got a real Disney cartoon vibe about it, doesn't it?
It does a bit.
The evil stepmother.
Is Alice having to scrub the floors?
Yeah.
No, I mean, they're incredibly wealthy, so Alice is fine.
I'm pretty sure the queens in the Disney movies were pretty well off as well.
Oh, shit,
exactly.
good point. Yeah, and the evil stepmothers and stuff.
Yeah.
They had
Snow
money.
White and whatnot.
Yeah. Wow.
Heart in the Box.
Heart in the box.
Which I guess is what the Nirvana song was about.
Oh, yeah,
Snow
what's
White.
that? Anyway, I don't have time to go off on a tangent about...
Nirvana song.
Snow White was meant to be killed by the stepmother, which got the woodsman to do it, but he faked her heart as an ox heart or something.
Yeah, that's right.
I think, I'm going off the Sean McAuliffe version of it, which I listened to recently.
What if we do a retelling about the family of oxes that was ruined as a result of this?
That's
Yeah.
good.
That is good.
Yeah, I love that. Write that down.
Okay.
And also, how about Snow White's stepmom not being able to tell the difference between a huge beast's heart
Yeah, an ox would
and
be
a dainty little princess's heart?
Yeah.
an ox would be quite a lot bigger.
That probably wasn't an ox, in fairness to her.
A sheep or something.
Baby ox.
Could have been a
Baby
ox.
ox,
Yeah.
just the right size.
What kind of animals get around in fairy tale forests? Ox?
Deer.
Deer.
Deer. It was probably a deer.
Probably a deer. I think it might have been a deer. Anyway, so there was obviously continuing tension with her stepmother and prolonged separation and limited attention from her father. And this kind of created a young woman who was independent, outgoing, and very self-confident. It's
A Matilda type.
a Matilda type. She's just like, well, fuck you. And I think, she was definitely influenced by her aunt as well, who was this very, I think her aunt did get married, but at 40, you know, she just kind of lived this great life, was a lifelong counsel to Theodore. Every decision he made, he went to his sister to talk it out and stuff. She's a very intelligent woman, very independent.
I hope someone let her know that the clock is ticking.
It's actually a few of these people in this story, I did notice that they were having kids quite late, into late 30s and in their 40s.
You can do that if you're rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was sort of like, that's interesting that it sort of felt like back then, I don't know, even my grandparents had kids really young and stuff, so.
Yeah, if you're wealthy enough, you can pay off the sperm. They get lazier as they get older, but if
Right.
you just pay them off, they'll keep swimming pretty fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's really interesting. I guess I didn't know that because I'm middle class.
Yeah, and you get free range eggs as well. So that will help if you can upgrade from caged eggs. The mum, if they get them free range, grain fed
eggs.
Maybe 1,500 per hectare.
Yeah.
Something like that. You're gonna have a much better chance.
They got more space to roam.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. That's nice. So as Alice later became more independent and came into conflict with her father and stepmother, Aunt Bi provided needed structure and stability. Later in life, she said of her aunt, "There's always someone in every family who keeps it together. In ours, it was Auntie Bi." So Auntie Bi is a really important character and really important person in this family.
I like her, but I don't. The name doesn't work.
Auntie Bi.
Bi. It doesn't. I don't know why, but it's not working as a name. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to ask her to change it.
What do you want to refer to her as through the report?
Can we call her can we convert it into a name that
Her
sounds
name's
like a
Anna.
name?
Do you want to just call her Anna?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Anna sounds good.
All right, we'll call her Anna if I remember.
But if you can,
Canna.
let me know that she's the one who's
Previously
Auntie
known
Bi.
as.
Yeah.
If you could let me know.
No
Because
problem.
otherwise I'll find it very confusing.
Just like when people mention X, formerly known as Twitter,
That's right,
all
yeah.
the time. You're like,
Yeah,
okay,
which is really cool and
Yeah.
rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
In 1898, when her father Theodore was elected to governor of New York, he and his wife Edith suggested that perhaps Alice should be sent to a conservative school for girls in New York City. In response, Alice wrote, "If you send me, I will humiliate you. I will do something that will shame you. I tell you I will." They did not send her to that school.
That is amazing.
That's cool.
She absolutely rules.
She knows exactly where the power lies, and her power is
She's like, you send me to that school,
shaming the family name.
I'm going to humiliate the fuck out of you.
Wow.
Go for it. Send me. But I'll make it hell. And so they're like, no, you don't have to go to that school.
How old's Alice at the moment?
That was 1898, and she was born in, I don't remember. She's like teen, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
That, just to put into context, we're now into the VFL era. That started in 1897.
Yeah, great.
Okay. Because I'm sort of concocting like a award-winning Broadway musical in my head throughout this report. So just sort of plotting out the thing.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, no, yeah. Ask any questions. Can't guarantee I'll answer them. So, yeah, they didn't send her to the school. I think she went and stayed with her aunt for a bit. That's sort of what they did every time she got a bit much for them. They just sent her off to stay with her aunt for a while, and she kind of straightened her out a little bit or reined her in.
Okay, bit much, big musical number, probably about 30 minutes into the show.
Perfect. Yeah, love that. So, like I mentioned at the very beginning, Teddy was the vice president to William McKinley, starting that job in like 1901, early 1901. And William McKinley visited and made a speech at the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo in the Temple of Music. It was this big, large auditorium. There was this big sort of world fair going on, and there was going to be this big public reception. And his personal security, George B. Cortelyou, was very concerned for the president's safety. And he tried twice to remove this sort of public appearance from the program. He's like, I don't think this is a good idea. McKinley, every time, just kept putting it back on the schedule. He was like, I want to support the fair. He enjoyed meeting people. He wasn't afraid of potential assassins.
He should have watched the Stephen Sondheim musical, Assassins, and he would have seen this coming.
And when did that musical come out?
I don't know, the 80s.
Yeah, okay, so a bit 1880s? Because that would have been great.
Yeah, that would have been convenient for him.
When Cortelyou asked McKinley a final time to remove the event from the schedule, the president responded, "Why should I? No one would wish to hurt me." Do you see where I'm going with this? Unable to persuade the president to alter his schedule, Cortelyou telegraphed the authorities in Buffalo asking them to arrange for extra security. So it comes around to this gathering at the Temple of Music, and a man in the crowd named Leon Chogos concealed his gun in a handkerchief, and when he reached the head of the line, shot McKinley twice in the abdomen at close range.
I thought this report was about Alice. I was waiting for Alice to come through and save the day.
I'm weaving stories.
That's good. You've done very well.
What? No middle name? That's weird for an assassin.
Leon, but his name is CZ. I was about to say zero. CZOLGOSZ. Chogos,
Great
I think.
name.
McKinley was taken to the exposition aid station where a doctor was unable to locate the second bullet. And funnily enough, a primitive X-ray machine was being exhibited at this World Fair.
Oh, that's cool.
But it was not used.
No.
He was taken to the home of a guy named John Milburn. He was the president of the exposition company. And in the days after the shooting, McKinley appeared to improve, and doctors issued increasingly optimistic bulletins. Member of the cabinet who had rushed to Buffalo on hearing the news, they dispersed. They're like, oh, he's fine. Vice President Roosevelt, he was like, cool, I'll go on my camping trip as planned. And then on the morning of September 13, McKinley's condition deteriorated. Specialists were summoned. Although at first some doctors hoped that McKinley might survive with a weakened heart, by afternoon they knew the case was hopeless. Unknown to the doctors at the time, gangrene was growing on the walls of McKinley's stomach and slowly poisoning his blood.
Oh, no.
It's like an awful, slow death. So, yeah, unfortunately he did die on September 14 at 2 a.m, and Theodore Roosevelt rushed back to Buffalo and took the oath of office as president.
Did he still enjoy his camping trip?
Well, it was cut short, which sucks. It was only a couple of days.
That's rough.
Did he become president and head back to camp?
Yeah, he was like, am I good to...
Now I'm president.
I've done the oath.
I'm on holidays.
Can I skedaddle? So, yeah, I've talked very briefly about it, a completely different person, but I just think it's interesting in the context of what's going on. So very suddenly, after only about 6 months in the vice presidency, Teddy Roosevelt is now president of the United States.
It's amazing how many presidents have been murdered in America.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, isn't it?
Stephen Sondheim should do a musical about it.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're talking. So yeah, Teddy's president and his 17-year-old daughter Alice is suddenly thrust into the spotlight as well. She became a celebrity and fashion icon at the age of 17. And at her social debut in 1902, she wore a gown of what became known as Alice Blue. She had a colour that was associated with her, sparking a colour trend in women's clothing and a popular song, Alice Blue Gown.
I never heard it.
No.
Couldn't be that popular.
Who's gown? Like gown was the person that she blew. Bit of fun.
Bit of fun.
Bit of fun.
About a legendary woman, I assume.
According to Britannica, headstrong and rebellious and with a pronounced taste for the society of aristocrats and the gilded aged wealthy, she was a favourite topic for the press, which slavishly recorded the comings and goings and her defiance of conventions. So the press just loved her. She was fun to talk about because she didn't just go with what was expected.
I'm trying to get a sense of her
trends.
personality. Like, is she, is she rebellious? Does she do what she wants to do? Or is she someone who, is she fitting this mold?
She is known for her really biting sense of humour.
Oh.
She calls it like it is. And it seems a lot like she gives zero fucks.
Yeah, right. Like a Joan Rivers type.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. So,
Jess, do you remember the Lake George monster episode?
Yeah, very well.
Because in that, we talked about one of the characters who was involved had this sort of blog, not a blog. It was like a newspaper article.
Oh, yeah.
Column. And it was called I forget what it's called. But he got sued by Roosevelt because of what he wrote about her. And I'm like, that was Alice. We've spoken about Alice before. Saunterings is what it was called. And he was called the Saunterer.
Oh, yeah.
And he said when she was 20, he'd written a thing saying, accusing her of wearing costly lingerie, indulging in fancy dresses for the edification of men, and indulging freely in stimulants. And, yeah.
There you go, the shared do-go-on universe.
Yeah. And that's probably where some people then thought to suggest her as a topic.
Maybe, yeah, right.
Yeah. So from all that's interesting, they wrote, she both ignored and was irritated by the media's attention, and her cool attitude only caused much of the public to fall in love with her more. She's become one of the most regarded women in the world, the Tribune wrote of the now 17-year-old. So she's a teenager still.
It's a lot of pressure.
And they
Child
just
star.
love her. She was consequently nicknamed Princess Alice and began making headlines left and right. Every time she was spotted out with a man, people speculated she'd marry him. And whether in the world of dating or otherwise, all her fearless and audacious exploits were eagerly documented by the media.
Imagine that, like knowing that every time you were seen in public with a male, that the rumors would start. Like
Taylor Swift.
You go out and you get the mail from the postman, like,
ooh,
wedding bells.
Yeah.
I'm thinking a big maybe showstopper before the interval for this one, when she's like really becoming a star.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Is the postman involved?
There's no postman.
Okay.
Only post women.
That's
good
great.
stuff.
That's beautiful.
The papers were there when she became the first woman to drive the 45 miles in a car from Newport to Boston. They saw her as she raced said car up and down the streets of Washington, smoked publicly and often on the roof of the White House. She chewed
That's
gum.
cool.
She played poker. She wore pants.
Holy
she
shit.
partied all night with the Vanderbilts and slept till noon. So she
Wow.
just
She was an early riser.
she just lived a good life.
Yeah, right.
And just
the end.
and yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's just so interesting. She was known to keep these three things with her in her purse at all times.
Or can we guess?
Yes.
Lipstick?
Nah.
You said gum. She'd probably pack a gum.
A magnum, a gun. Not the condom, you guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say dingers.
Head out of the gutter.
Yeah, maybe just normal size dingers.
You're saying gun?
Yeah, like a little gun. Like
You're
an
on the
assassin.
right kind of path.
Bow and arrow.
Not a bow and
Oh, a
arrow.
little slingshot
Flamethrower.
like Bart Simpson.
Not a slingshot. She's not Bart Simpson.
Knife.
Oh, a little like
Close,
a little
another
dart,
word
like
for
a
it?
little air dart.
A dagger.
A dagger? A dagger is one of them.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, are they all like Cluedo weapons?
No.
Do we say
Candlestick?
do we say cigarettes yet?
You'll never get the rest.
Oh, come on.
All right, keep guessing then.
A little, perhaps.
Libra Fleur tampons?
Libra flow tampon. No.
Okay, so she got a dagger. So you want to clean up after herself as well. Maybe some tissues.
Nah.
Clean up after us.
Like after you stab someone.
Okay.
Yeah.
You clean it up.
Well, like, what kind of mess is she making? All right, Jess.
Okay, all right, Jess.
A copy of the Constitution
Oh, like a little one.
and her pet snake, whose name was Emily Spinach.
Do you think this was in a purse?
In her purse. Must have been a big purse. Or a
Not-
small snake.
Emily
not a
Spinach.
Emily Spinach was the name of the...
Does Emily Spinach get a song in the musical?
Well, it's your
Your
musical.
musical. You tell us,
I
mate.
reckon little puppet. It'd be puppeted.
I agree, yes.
Puppet.
Yeah, come out of the purse and Emily Spinach.
And just a spotlight on the
Yeah,
snake while it sings.
yeah. A lot of S's in the song for comic effect.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's good stuff. And her name's Spinach, so that'll be fun with a bit
Yeah.
of a lisp too, yeah. So yeah, she always had a dagger, Constitution, and her snake.
Constitution, I picture to be big.
I think you can get small ones.
Like
Oh, yeah,
right,
pocket
They shrink
pocket
it down.
Constitution.
yeah, like small font. Not
Yeah,
all of us
right.
need fucking size 25, mate.
Okay, well, some of us do, though. And I think it's rude that you shoved that in my face.
Well, it's rude that she should carry something that she can read.
Honestly, ironically, that is how I have to read, having things shoved in my face. I can't see that. Bring it closer.
While she might have been a bit annoyed by the media attention, she also kind of thrived in it. A trait she says she got from her father. She later said of her own father, he wants to be the bride at every wedding, the corpse at every funeral, and the baby at every christening.
Got him.
Oh, man. He's got some dreams that are going to be pretty hard to achieve.
He can definitely be a corpse at a funeral.
Yes. I think that's his most achievable one.
And bride at a wedding.
Bride is possible.
Very possible.
He's that
But
guy. he's
baby,
at
mate,
christening?
come on.
Put on a nappy and dunk me in some water. I'm the baby at the christening.
Okay, no, you're right. He could do all those.
You know, like baby is really a state of mind. Or
True.
like, you know, a lot of couples might call each other baby. You know,
Yeah.
you'd be somebody's baby.
Well, you have the aura of a big baby.
Aura. I am a big baby.
I just like the idea of Teddy at these events just nudging the person next to him in the audience, being like, "I'll get it done." That I'd be a better corpse than that person.
Yeah, this guy's absolutely, he's phoning this in. I did a really good job. So yeah, she was also known for breaking social norms of the time, as we've already kind of touched on. She was against marriage, apparently. She distrusted men. She was headstrong, and she regarded herself as a solitary woman in her own right. And her strong personality and the then shocking single woman lifestyle became great fodder for gossip and high society magazines. Just the fact that she was happily single, they were like, oh, scandalous. Teddy himself was somewhat ashamed of his daughter's behaviour, and the two were at constant odds with each other about the trajectory of her life, as she had quickly become the antithesis of what a young woman of her time was supposed to be. But the press loved her, as did the general public. The New York Herald printed a running score of her social life over the course of one 15-month period, which included 407 dinners, 350 balls, 300 parties, 680 teas, like I guess like a tea party.
I hope they didn't have any extra explanation. The balls was just she went to a ball pit one time.
And they counted. That's 124 calls right there. And 1,700 social calls. So
Over what length of time?
15 months?
Yeah, right.
So she's making multiple social calls a day. There's got to be some double up with these dinners and balls.
I think the dinners are unfair.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's got to eat.
Yeah, so what's the difference between just like having dinner at home versus going out? Or something
We don't know. It
like
could have been TV dinners.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Could have been microwave.
Then that's probably not enough dinners, is it?
Yeah.
It's concerned. They're actually concerned about her well-being.
Or is that too many dinners? I don't know. This is one of my favourite stories about her, though, and probably one of the reasons that people suggest her is this story. Once, a White House visitor commented on Alice's frequent interruptions of the president's office, often to offer political advice. She would just burst into her dad's office all the time. The exhausted president commented to his friend, author Owen Wister, after she interrupted their conversation for the third time, and he threatened to throw her out a window.
Whoa.
He said, I can either run the country or I can attend to Alice, but I cannot possibly do both.
Okay, I'm scrapping the musical. It's now a sitcom. Okay, is what it is. It's going to be a fun
She's
sitcom.
Kramer bursting into the president's office, and her dad's like, I can't
And the audience like, woo!
I can't run the country and answer Alice's questions, okay? I can't do both. I think that's so funny. Just like the blatant disrespect for the role of the president to just like burst in and be like, hey, Dad!
Where's the big red button that shushes my daughter?
I think it's so funny. In 1905, at about 21 years old, she led an American delegation on a tour of Japan, Hawaii, China, the Philippines, and Korea. The tour consisted of the then Secretary of War, William Howard Taft.
Taft. He's
23
back.
congressmen, 7 senators, some diplomats and officials. After returning to Washington from her travels, Alice became engaged to Nicholas Longworth III, a Republican member of the House of Representatives. The two had known each other for a long time, moving in the same social circles for years, but their romantic relationship blossomed on the tour, and he too was from a very prominent and wealthy family from Ohio. He was 14 years her senior and had previously had a reputation as a bit of a playboy.
Longworth.
Does he live up to the name? Their wedding took place in February of 1906 and was the social event of the season. It was attended by more than 1,000 guests, with many thousands gathered outside hoping for a glimpse of the bride. She was like royalty. Another great anecdote about her is that when cutting the wedding cake, the knife wasn't quite doing the job, so she grabbed a sword and cut the cake with that.
She had a dagger right in her bag.
And she wore a blue dress too, which is kind of fun.
Was it Alice Blue?
Alice Blue, I would assume, yeah.
I bet she did later that night. But the idea of
Alice Blue Longworth.
the idea of people just dying to get a glimpse of a bride is so funny. Like literally just the flash of a.
I saw her.
I think I saw the bride.
There was less on back in the day. You know, that would be the highlight of your life.
Whereas now I'd be like, meh, there's Netflix at home.
Yeah, exactly.
Would it have been a faux pas then that day to
wear blue?
Wear blue.
Probably, yeah.
Wearing white would have been fine.
Yeah, but how do you know?
Imagine one of the 1,000 guests that attends the wedding and turns up in Alice Blue.
Yeah.
You're thinking it's a beautiful tribute. She'll probably wear white.
She'll be thrilled to see me in Alice Blue.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. I'm wearing the exact same dress as her. I knew I should have gone to that wedding dress shop. And then dyed it blue.
And this is all Teddy saying this because he wants to be the one on stage.
He's like, how embarrassing.
Yeah, he wants to be the bride at every wedding. This is his chance. So they had a bit of a party lifestyle. I mean, he was a Washington playboy, and their party lifestyle continued for quite a while once they were married. And Alice didn't really take the then traditional submissive role of a wife. In fact, they often stood on opposite sides in political campaigns.
Oh gosh!
William Taft won the presidency in 1909, and Teddy Roosevelt sought to be re-elected in the 1912 election. And Alice publicly supported her father's presidency campaign, while her husband stayed loyal to his mentor, President William Taft, and was running for re-election on the Republican ticket as well. And Nicholas Longworth, he narrowly lost his seat that year to a Democratic challenger. And this is from Wikipedia as well. It says, during the election cycle, Alice appeared on stage with her father's vice presidential candidate, Hiram Johnson, in Longworth's own district. Longworth lost by about 105 votes, and she joked that she was worth at least 100, kind of saying that, like, she was the reason he lost.
Yeah, that's wild.
However, Nicholas Longworth was elected again in 1914 and stayed in the House for the rest of his life. Alice's campaign against her husband caused a permanent chill in their marriage. So that's what I mean. Like, she kind of calls it like it is. She doesn't stay loyal to people just for the sake of it. She sides with who she actually agrees with politically. It's very interesting and it's tricky and risky. During their marriage as well, Alice had numerous affairs. It was general knowledge in DC that she had a long ongoing affair with Senator William Borah, and it's commonly believed that Alice's only child, a daughter named Paulina, born in 1925, was the child of Borah. Also from Wiki, it says Alice was renowned for her brilliantly malicious humour, and even in this sensitive situation, since she had originally wanted to name her daughter Deborah, as in Deborah.
That's a great start for your child, isn't it? Being named as a sort of a
slight against your husband. Yeah.
Their dad, I guess. Was he her dad?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deborah.
Yeah, probably the right decision not to go with that.
Yeah. Go Paulina. That's nice. So with her father no longer...
Paul's a beautiful name for a boy. And it's like, how could you make it even more beautiful? Pauline. Don't you think Paulina is such a beautiful name?
I have an aunt.
Because I think Paul is such a handsome name.
I have an aunt, Pauline, who we just call Paul.
Really?
So my entire life, I've thought of Paul as a very gender neutral name.
My best
remember
friend's name is Paul.
My dad's
Male,
name is
female?
Paul.
He's a boy.
Okay.
My dad's name's Paul, but yeah, to me it is he dated a Paula for a while, which is
Oh, Paula.
Paul and
Oh,
Paula.
you can't do that.
No, well, my Uncle Michael married a Michelle.
I think Michelle, because it's a different sound that
Yeah, but it's-
softens a little bit.
it's a
It is
bit too
weird.
similar, isn't it? Paul and Paula would never have worked.
No. What were they thinking?
But I remember being in like the first year of primary school and talking about my auntie Paul and my teacher being very confused.
I think
like,
the rule
really?
is if you're being intimate with someone that has a similar name to you and you were to say it out loud in the boudoir, would it sound like you were talking about
Right.
yourself? Yeah.
And like,
That's hot.
there could be a male Jess.
Yeah.
It would never work.
Mm.
Anyway,
Matina.
Ooh.
Ooh, I don't mind it.
Tina.
Tina. Well, that's taken a lot of the similar part away.
Isn't that the ideal? Or do you want to
No,
yell
it's-
Matina at
ooh.
climax?
Matilda. You've mentioned a couple of Roald Dahl stories today. Are you in your Dahl era?
Yeah, I love Dahl. I grew up. Matilda was I had it on video. It was my sick day video. Love
Oh.
Matilda.
Have
a
you
good
watched
one.
the new one?
I didn't care for I love the musical. I didn't care for the Netflix adaptation of it.
Right.
They brought out a lot of the magic.
Oh, like literal magic.
Both the literal magic and just like the magic of the musical was lost. Like, for example, the song "When I Grow Up," Miss Honey's supposed to sing it in the musical, and it has a whole other level to it. And in the movie adaptation, they dropped it, and it was lost.
It's disappointing.
There's my sincere answer.
Thank you for your sincere answer.
Well,
now
I'd ask
drop
a
the
sincere
sincerity
question.
from here. Thanks. Back to fun, if that's not too much to ask. Bloody hell. So with her father no longer the president, another fun anecdote that gets shared about her a fair bit is that when the Roosevelts moved out of the White House, Alice buried a voodoo doll of the new First Lady, Nellie Taft, in the front yard.
Yeah, right.
Man, I love the name Taft.
Speaking of
And Nelly.
First Lady, we've dropped the stepmom from the story. What's she
Oh,
doing?
yeah, she's still around.
She's still being Megan and stuff?
No, not really. Well, it's funny because later in her life, and I think I talk about it a bit later, but Alice talks quite fondly of her stepmother later in life. So I think maybe
Oh, that's good.
they kind of started to get along, or just, in a bit of hindsight, Alice
Great resolution for Act 3.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Mm.
But yeah, so yes, Edith I think is still the First Lady. Did she? I don't think she died at any stage. Anyway, but
She's still
she's
around.
still alive. I just thought it was funny that she had a
That was Kermit, right?
Kermit, yeah.
Yeah.
She had a voodoo doll of William Taft's wife and
That's-
buried it in the front yard. That's pretty funny.
And what the hope? Because the voodoo doll, what you do to it happens to them. So her
Was she
burying
having
it
she
is-
buried? Yeah, I don't
is that
know.
the idea?
Well, this is believed to be why Alice was banned from the White House the first time. The second time she was banned from the White House was when the next president after Taft, Woodrow Wilson, took
Woodrow.
over the residence.
Woodrow.
This time she was banned for consistently making jokes at the president's expense. She just kept making inappropriate comments about him. They're like, just ban her, would you?
Yeah,
I
right.
just think
to be
it's so
blacklisted
funny.
from the White House.
Twice she was banned from the White House.
Do you have any idea of the kinds of things she was saying?
In one, it was like she was making jokes at his expense, and others, it was like she was making bawdy jokes, or like they were a bit inappropriate.
You got Wood, you got Willie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Put two and two together.
Yeah.
But no, I don't have verbatim what she was saying.
Okay.
So in her sort of later life, Alice's husband, Nicholas, died unexpectedly from pneumonia in April of 1931.
Longworth.
Longworth, yeah, he died. And Alice's daughter was only born in 25. So he died a few years later, and Alice never remarried. This was also during the Great Depression, when she, like many other Americans, found her fortunes reversed, and she appeared in tobacco ads to earn some money. And she also published an autobiography called Crowded Hours. It sold really well. It received rave reviews. Time praised its insouciant vitality.
Oh,
Insouciant.
my favorite kind of vitality.
How good is that?
Insouciant.
Insouciant.
No one has that anymore.
I agree.
No.
I had to look it up.
Yeah, right.
Means-
Well, for
anybody else who
anybody
didn't know
else.
what
We
that
all
means,
know
it's
what
like
it
a
means.
casual lack of concern.
Yeah, that's right.
Insouciant.
Oh, maybe you are sort of insouciant now that I think of it. Yeah.
I'm so insouciant.
You really lack concern, but in a very casual way.
Oh yeah.
It's very cool. It's interesting because it really does seem, like we were saying before, the relationship between Alice and her stepmother wasn't a pleasant one, but later in life, Alice wrote quite fondly of her stepmother, even expressing admiration for her sense of humour and saying they had similar taste in books. In her autobiography, Crowded Hours, Alice wrote of Edith Caro, "That I was a child of another marriage was a simple fact and made a situation that had to be coped with, and mother coped with it with a fairness and charm and intelligence which she has to a greater degree than almost anyone else I know."
Oh, and the ghost of Edith is watching her type this, and she's
going,
like, "Oh wow, she called me mother.
Yeah.
She called me mother."
She called me mother.
and then her ghost fades away into nothing because that was her unfinished business.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, it seems like in her later years at least, Alice kind of, I don't know, was on good terms or understood.
Chilled out.
Yeah, understood where that sort of
Yeah.
tension would have come from Edith's perspective. I still find it strange to be jealous of a dead spouse, but
Yeah. Yeah, that's a her problem.
yeah. Her later life was no surprise, a busy and active one. Throughout her entire life, Teddy Roosevelt had turned to his sister Bamie.
No, Bamie's all right.
Bamie's okay.
Bye.
All right, we'll keep Bamie.
Actually, if you could change Bamie to Barn Me, as we
Okay.
are coming up to sort of lunchtime.
Yep, all right. So Teddy had turned to his sister Barnme for advice on basically everything, like I was saying before, summed up by Wikipedia. In fact, it was said by their niece Eleanor that Teddy, made few important significant political decisions and even fewer personal decisions without getting the input of his sister. She remained a trusted confidant for his entire career. As president, he would walk down to her residence at 18th and First in Washington so often that Barnme's house, was sometimes called the other White House.
Yeah, right.
As she became more infirm, TR turned more and more to his daughter Alice for advice and to act as a go-between in delicate political situations. So she actually became like quite an important person in her father's...
The women behind the men.
Yeah.
Is infirm, what does that mean? It's like losing a six-pack.
Yeah.
Right.
She became more infirm. So
More
she actually gained... She had an 8-pack and he was like, I can't deal with this.
That's really sick.
It's like, I can't talk to you without looking at the 8-pack. It's too distracting. I'll just go ask Alice. Don't worry about it.
Is she the one who... is Barnme the one who was said would have been president if she was a man? Yeah. And it sounds like she kind of was president almost. And he's like going, wait, what should I do next?
She was a very trusted advisor, yeah.
I got a meeting with the Chinese guy. I think he's the president. I don't know. I don't know what they call him over there. Quick, I need answers. It's just panicking nonstop. And luckily, Barnme's just down the road at the second White House.
And she was his older sister as well. So it's kind of cute that he's like, I have to go ask my big sister. I don't know. So he, as Barnme became older and sicker, he would turn to Alice instead. And throughout Alice's life, she was a very active member in political society, and she called it like it was. She wasn't afraid to oppose her own family. When Franklin D. Roosevelt ran for president in 1932, Alice publicly opposed his candidacy.
Oh.
Writing in the Ladies' Home Journal in October of 32, she said of FDR, "Politically, his branch of the family and ours have always been in different camps. And the same surname is about all we have in common. I'm a Republican, and I'm going to vote for Hoover. If I were not a Republican, I would still vote for Mr. Hoover this time." So she's just, she doesn't give a shit that they happen to be distantly related. She's like, nah, fuck him.
He was like, isn't he seen as one of the greats, FDR?
I don't know. I don't know enough about the presidents.
It's usually about like wartime presidents. They get more credit.
Yeah. But could you see FDR in a musical?
Yeah,
He's in Annie. So there's a little joke there for the Annie heads out there. He hangs out with Daddy Warbucks.
for the Annie heads.
Yeah. It's not in the same scene as the Wet Dog, but it's the same film, and I think that's why do I smell wet dog?
And Daddy Warbucks says that, right?
Yeah.
And is the dog FDR?
The dog is FDR.
Oh, that is rude. Yeah. That is rude to say to a president.
No, but FDR sings Tomorrow, I think, with Annie in that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's probably weird. I don't know. Is that weird?
It does feel weird.
Yeah.
I don't know of any other presidents being
that
in
are
musicals.
in a fictional musical. Yeah.
As opposed to the real musicals. Life.
Oh, wait. Is Annie a real
story?
Is Annie based
No, but you can break into song at any time, making life a musical. Have you ever thought about that?
Well, yeah, I think it happened once in Sunnyvale, which is where a friend of mine, Buffy, lives. And a demon arrived there one day and put a weird curse on the town where you would break into song, and if you did it too much, you would explode. And so that can happen, yeah.
Wow. God, it makes you think.
It does.
Yeah. Good app.
Anyway, so Alice remained very active in politics. She served on the National Board of Directors of America First, which is a committee dedicated to keeping the US neutral during World War II.
How old is she at the moment?
We're getting up there now.
Yeah, right. Sorry, I keep asking you sticky questions.
I just don't have the date there for that one.
Because, if this wasn't Jess's edited version, she'd have all these answers.
Yeah.
But she's chopped out every question you're asking is about some bullshit that doesn't matter that she's edited out. So maybe just think more about the questions you're asking.
Trying to get an image in my brain.
I think she's getting fairly old.
Mm-hmm.
She was friendly with the Kennedys, Nixon, and the Johnsons. Later, Alice Roosevelt Longworth stayed active in causes important to American women, calling Gloria Steinman one of my heroes and saying, when asked her opinion of the sexual revolution, that she'd always lived by the old adage of fill what's empty, empty what's full, and scratch where it itches.
Bumper sticker worthy. Fill what's empty.
I've never heard it
gracious.
put in such sexy terms.
Empty what's full, scratch where it itches.
I've always lived by that.
What does that mean?
Okay, fill what's empty. Okay, we can sort of figure out that
Yeah.
one.
Yep. Empty
Empty
what's
what's
full.
full.
Same, I think. Balls.
Oh, okay.
So you're just going in context of sex.
Wait. No. I meant like
Bowling balls.
no, like
you
soirees.
you throw a ball. Yeah.
Ball.
Empty the ball when
Empty
it's
the balls
full.
when it's full. That's when it's time to say good night, everybody.
This is full.
This is full.
And then after everyone exits, you go, oh, that feels good.
And then you go, bring him back in. We're going to fill what's empty.
And you know what? My arm is itchy, and I'm going to scratch it. And I respect the hell out of that. So I mentioned her daughter, Paulina. She grew up. She married Alexander McCormick Sturm, and they had a daughter named Joanna in 1946. Sadly, Alexander died in 1951, and Paulina herself died in 1957. Alice, who was 73 at the time, fought for and won the custody of her granddaughter, whom she then raised. So in her 70s...
And she never mentioned Joanna's name again.
So yeah, she in her 70s then raised her very young granddaughter as well.
Yeah, right.
In contrast to Alice's relationship with her daughter, she doted on her granddaughter and the two were very, very close. But it sort of came at a rough time for Alice. The year before, in 56, she'd been diagnosed with breast cancer and successfully underwent a mastectomy. And then in 1970, cancer was found in the other breast and she once again underwent a second mastectomy. And despite these health issues, like she's in her 70s at this point, which back then was old.
It still is.
Still is.
No, it's not.
You're saying that as a 700-year-old. So it doesn't...
Yeah. So I think I can say that.
These 70-year-olds, they're babies.
Yeah, 10% of me.
So despite the health issues, she lived for another 10 years, and 8 days after her 96th birthday, and after over a decade of health issues, she died in her home in February of 1980. She lived to 96.
That is what they call a good innings.
What
an
was St
amazing
Kilda
innings.
doing that year?
What year?
1980.
80. Well, yeah, we were beginning one of the worst decades of any sporting club's history, I reckon.
Do you think it's connected?
I think so. It was a decade of mourning.
Out of respect.
Out of respect, that's right.
So yeah, Alice is remembered as a trailblazer and a woman who didn't bend to social norms. She had refused to ever meet Jimmy Carter. He was the last president in her lifetime. She just thought he lacked social grace.
Oh.
And upon her death, President Carter's official statement said she had style, she had grace, and she
was there.
She had style, she had flair, she was there. That's how she became Alice. She had a sense of humour that kept generations of political newcomers to Washington wondering which was worse, to be skewered by her wit or to be ignored by it.
Geez, that's classy from Jimmy Carter.
Do you reckon?
I thought he was a good guy, wasn't he? Isn't he one of the good guys?
No, I'm saying it was classy. She ignored him. She wouldn't even meet him, and he still put out this
Would you
nice
care
message.
that much that like a 90-year-old woman doesn't want to meet you?
No, and he wouldn't have written.
Like, all right, whatever.
He almost probed
He
didn't write this thing either.
But it's pretty funny to be like, yeah, she was just known for her like really sharp wit, and she doled it out. Like she loved to like poke and prod people.
I see a bit of myself in her, you dumb fuck.
Oh, to be skewered by Matt Stewart.
Oh, it's better than being ignored by it.
Well, it's good that you are here, Jess. Anyway, we should have probably got a second guest in to replace Dave.
Oh, you're ignoring Marcel.
me. He's
Got
ignoring
it. That
me.
took me way too long. But I'm not known for my wit
No,
or intelligence.
You're not, are you?
What am I
Fuck stick.
You're not, are you, fuck stick? Anyway, one of her most quotable things, comments, she's most famous for, she stitched it into a little
Teddy bear?
pillow
Oh, damn it.
on her
I
sofa.
thought it was going to be a TikTok.
she stitched this.
She invented TikTok?
Oh my god, it's so funny, but now you've ruined it. So she had this little throw pillow on her couch that said, "If you can't say something good about someone, sit right here by me." She was just a bitch in the fun way, and I think she's really funny. She was sassy, bold, had a pet snake, was very intelligent and outspoken, and just a really funny character.
Yeah, what happened to Spinach?
Oh, Emily Spinach must have died years ago.
Oh.
She's mentioned so briefly, Emily Spinach.
This is what happens, like women get overlooked in history, but then think about the snakes that are overlooked.
It's
Yeah.
one step even lower.
Than women. Ugh, how embarrassing.
When are snakes going to get their history? And I say history.
Would you like to come back and do a report on the history of snakes?
I would.
Okay.
I would. You've got the Garden of Eden. Let's start with that particular serpent who started it all.
Nobody really looks on that serpent all that favourably.
It's true, but I think there's another story there.
Yeah, there must be. So there you go. That's my report on Alice Roosevelt Longworth. And again, a thank you to Caitlin, Myra, English, and Darylyn for suggesting that topic because it was a lot of fun to read about. She seems like a pretty fun, badass lady.
Thanks, Darylyn.
Darylyn.
That was fun. I enjoyed very much learning new things.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You just it's not somebody you hear all that much about, and yeah. So there
And
you
I
go.
think that it's a good lesson to reach out to more of the 90-year-old women in our lives and see if they want to hang out.
Yeah, that's true. My grandma just turned 97,
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's real old.
and I missed her birthday party because I had COVID.
Oh no.
So I'll catch her another time.
Yeah, at 98th.
Yeah, I'll see you next year. There's no other possible time I could go visit, so I'm very busy.
I'm reading a list of her quotes. There are great ones in there. IMDb lists 3 quotes, and you've used them all. But I found another one, A to Z quotes. She says
A lot of them. I also looked up quotes, and a lot of them are repeats of the same quote. So see what you find.
I like this. My speciality is detached malevolence.
Mhm.
Oh, that's good stuff. I feel like that one feels like she's written that down.
Yeah.
Waited for someone to ask her something. Well, dear, did she speak like that?
Yeah, what was her accent?
I would assume that. Yeah,
You didn't do her voice the whole time.
I didn't. She did have a couple of like.
What does this mean?
Okay.
Never trust a man who combs his hair straight from his left armpit.
Yeah, I don't get what that one was either. It's confusing, isn't it?
I like this, and again, don't really understand. He looks as though he's been weaned on a pickle.
Yeah. I mean, the left armpit seems like, it's like false hair. Like you're trying to trick me.
Right, and the
Yeah.
weaned on a pickle one, you're
Yeah, I don't
Very
get that.
small.
yeah, you haven't been weaned on a
You're not a rich
on
person
on
who's
milk.
able to have 486 dinners.
Right. I'm the only topless octogenarian in Washington. I didn't quite get that
I
word
see
out.
what you're
did I?
doing. You're sort of doing like a Hepburn type.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess so. Off
Feel
to-
what's missing and empty what's full.
Feel what's empty, empty what's full, and scratch where it itches. She just kind of seems like, like sometimes you're in a conversation with like an old man and they say something a bit gross and you just kind of go like,
Yeah.
It sounds like
I mean, that's this whole
she never
podcast.
did that. I know,
Yeah,
I know. Sorry about him.
I like this one again, Bob.
Yeah, he's
but
deaf
I
too.
don't understand. I don't understand this, but it sounds like people in Washington seem to be hypnotized by precedents as much as they were hens with their beaks on a chalk line.
So do you see now why I didn't include some of these?
Did you say presidents?
Well, that's the accent.
Presidents.
That's it. That's the
That's just how
accent.
they talk.
Yeah, that's just how they talk. You can't make a souffle rise twice. That was hers? That's
Yeah.
a big one.
Yeah, she said that about a Washington senator who was discovered to have been having an affair with a young woman less than half his age. And she said, you can't make a souffle rise twice. And I don't get it.
Yeah, nor do I.
So,
Well, a souffle can't rise twice. And
Yeah, but
I'm
what does
guessing
it
they were
connect?
probably eating that. I think it's about his boner because he's old.
Maybe. She also, one time, President Lyndon B. Johnson, she said she was wearing this big wide-brimmed hat so he couldn't kiss her. And it just seems like people would sort of make a little bit of a joke at her expense and she'd just sort of cut him straight back down. And I like that because,
Lyndon B. Johnson.
yeah, you know what he's like.
Yeah.
Johnson.
Yeah.
So there you go. That is my report.
Well done.
Thank you so much, Marcel.
I feel like people don't say that enough on this podcast.
Hey,
yeah.
well
Certainly not to
done.
me. Shut the fuck up, Matt.
Hey,
Hey.
good effort.
Aw, good on ya.
No, I really found that fascinating. There's a lot in it. We learned a lot about American history from that period.
Yeah,
I think it might actually be a 2-part musical like The Cursed Child where you have to come back in the evening and see the rest of it.
Ooh, okay.
I'd love if it was, you'd have the FDR scenes is just after or just before he was in Annie.
Oh, that's good.
He goes,
Little
by the
crossover.
way, I gotta go visit Mr. Warbucks.
Yeah,
or whatever.
people love that little
Yeah.
wink to what
Yeah.
else is going on. Yeah.
I think that could be a really nice touch.
That happened in that movie Maestro about the guy who wrote West Side Story, Leonard Bernstein. And he would it's just one line in the movie where it's like, anyway, Stephen Sondheim wants me to work on a thing with him, and just just say West Side Story.
So you were
Yeah.
saying you hated it?
I didn't like Maestro. No, I didn't care much for it.
Wow.
Wow. Bradley Cooper is one of our biggest listeners and
Yeah.
benefactories.
Really, that's cool.
He's a building that makes benefacts.
Benefactors.
What's the word? Benefactors. Whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares? Sorry so much, AJ, for the edit job on this one.
Yeah, I assumed that the episode was over, and this is just for AJ to enjoy.
Are you hanging around for everyone's favorite section of the show, or do you have to PO?
I should go back to the office.
Oh, here we go.
Just outside that door.
But I would like Broden Kelly privileges in the future to just bust in during a Patreon.
Well, you don't have them.
Okay.
How do you know? How will you know it's a Patreon section?
I'm hoping that you'll send up some sort of your signal. You go, oh, we're feeling a bit flat in here, Marcel. Are you in the office and can come and do a bit of Patreon?
Okay, yeah, fair.
Between you and me, Broden doesn't have those rights either.
Yeah, nobody's given rights.
Yeah.
They just take them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I guess, we wouldn't turn you away.
Yeah, that's so nice.
Well, then, before you go, we'll do a little plug thing.
Oh yeah, we didn't do plugs.
Let's do that.
What do you want to plug?
Hang on.
What would a guy like you want to plug?
Hey, do you have something empty that you want to plug? As Alice would say.
That's pretty good. Marcel, thank you for coming in and hanging out for this report. It means so much to me.
You sound so sincere.
Sitting half of your ass on
Yeah.
the tiny tush's seat.
You can understand
My
we've been.
butt is numb.
It's over an hour. We've had you sitting in a really uncomfortable position for ages, so we'll let you go. But Comedy Festival's coming up.
Comedy Festival's coming up. Adelaide Fringe is coming up. I don't know when this episode is dropping, but if you're listening
Next
to
week.
this... Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Then come see me at the Adelaide Fringe or the Comedy Festival if you're in Adelaide or Melbourne. I'm doing a show called Let Me Eat Cake, and it's all about fighting for your right, for your treat, despite the world being on fire. And it has a musical accompaniment the entire time. It's being underscored live by a pianist, which is pretty cool.
That's fun.
And if you like make-em-ups, I'm doing a show with my wife, which is completely improvised. It's called The Newlyweds.
Which I have a problem with.
You have a
You've
problem
been
with?
married for ages.
But you don't have a problem with the entertainment value.
Oh, the show's fantastic.
But it's interesting from what Jess said before, because she said she knows your wife quite well and that your wife doesn't really love you. So that'll be an interesting thing for people to go along and watch for that undertone.
Yeah.
Well, what you have to remember is Marcel's wife, Eleanor, is a very good actor.
Oh, okay. I see.
Eleanor Roosevelt.
Eleanor Roosevelt.
Yeah.
She's very well trained. So you almost believe watching it that she doesn't mind him.
Oh,
It's
okay.
really quite powerful.
It's one of her biggest acting roles. Yeah.
And that's where a lot of the humor comes from, because you're like, how ridiculous.
Yeah.
She's with him? Okay.
Is someone gonna tell him?
yeah, it's that sort of
So
energy.
look me up. I'm Marcel the Comedian on Instagram. And you can also listen to my podcast, which is called The Comedy Writers Group, and check out that Instagram where I skewer, much like Alice else Roosevelt does. I skewer comedy
Tells it
tropes.
like it is.
Yeah, I tell it like it is.
You don't give
Takes
a
no
fuck.
prisoners.
Yeah.
I empty holes and I fill them.
Oh, okay. Yep. You want to leave on that?
I believe that's the quote.
Yeah. I don't know. It's probably sounded better coming out of Alice's mouth, to be honest. But
okay, I guess. Yeah, we could leave that in if you want.
I empty holes, I fill them, and
What?
I get it.
what is going
Oh
on here?
my god. Well, yeah, go see Marcel at the festivals, I guess.
Yeah, probably take a chaperone. Someone to probably
an umbrella, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what he's going to be doing on stage. But go check out those shows. Thank you, Marcel.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Marcel has left the building, so now, Jess, we can talk about his performance there today.
What about we start not with his performance, but with his smell?
Yes. Smell is too friendly a word for it. Stench. You know.
Odor.
Oh, if the word that comes to mind, pungent. It is a big, it's still wafting around the room.
Get the fan going.
Please.
No, we love Marcel. And honestly, can I say, I've been to a few newlywed shows now.
Really?
Yeah, I love to go to them, but
Man, improv is hard to watch, but he makes it look easy, is what you've said.
yeah, they do like a long form type improv. So they get a few suggestions at the start and then they do like an hour-long play to the to those suggestions, and it's very funny. They obviously, I mean, they are a married couple. They have great chemistry, and it's very, very funny. And I've gone a few times, as has my partner Aiden, and he says last time we went, he said that was better than TV.
Oh, that is good.
Which is high praise.
And it's funny because I'm like, I do find improv awkward to watch sometimes, but I also find stand-up awkward to watch sometimes, and pretty much everything else. Good. It's just like anything. Good improv is good improv. The last improv I saw in Chicago was fantastic. CJ Tour's show.
Yeah.
Hitch Cocktails. A lot of fun.
So you remember that?
I remember
but
that.
you don't remember my birthday.
August 20.
C? 20C?
Is that what was I close? August 20. Yes?
20?
No, I'm saying August 20. Am I on the right track?
Yeah.
And it's an odd number. It's either 7 or 5.
No.
6 or 8.
Yeah.
And you're older than Dave? No, Dave's younger than you. Yes, that's something. August 28.
No.
Wait, hang on.
Dave's
You're
28.
older. Oh my God, I went the bigger number. Older, like the bigger number. Oh my God. I knew it and I still said it wrong.
It's so
That's
fun.
embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. You should
Go
be
see
embarrassed.
Newlyweds. Good times guaranteed. Also come see us. We're doing live pods. Do go on Saturdays or Sunday afternoons. Anyway, this brings us all up to everyone's favourite section of the show. I know a lot of you have just skipped ahead to this part. Welcome. You should go back and listen. Jess just told a really great story. I found it fascinating. I loved hearing about Taft.
Yeah.
If Taft comes up, I'm in heaven.
I'm having a good time.
Yeah. Anyway, so we now just spend the next half hour or so thanking our fantastic supporters. If it wasn't for them, this show would not exist. So we love spending a little bit of time at the end just giving them a little moment. And I should say, if people think they've had theirs missed, been getting some messages recently because I've started letting people know, and people are like, oh, seeing as you asked, I think I've been missed. And please do that. Everyone seems to feel very shy about it.
Don't feel shy or embarrassed. It is a mistake on our/Patreon's end, not yours.
I'd say the same for Who Knew It with Matt Stewart, which is Patreon's Ask the Questions on that. If you feel like you haven't had a question asked in a while and you wish there was, please just send me a message. The best place is DM on the Patreon site. Anyway, this section, we thank our great supporters. If you want to become one of those, you can go to patreon.com/dogoonpod. And yeah, there's a bunch of different rewards. Is that what you would call them?
Yeah.
And there are things like 3, soon to be 4 bonus episodes a month.
Yep.
Access to the nicest corner of the internet, which is our Facebook group. You get early access to tickets. You also get discounted tickets. You get what else is there? I'm thinking about doing an open day at Stupid Old Studios for patrons sometime this year. Something that I've been quietly thinking about. I might just, that's probably only if you can get to Melbourne, but
That's a fun idea.
Yeah, maybe I'd get someone. Maybe if Siraj is around,
Yep.
one of our great supporters, maybe he could do a live stream on his phone as I walk around for the other
That's
patrons or
nice.
something.
Yep.
I don't know why I'm throwing Siraj in it. Probably,
Yeah.
maybe Dave could do it. But anyway,
No.
because he's alive.
Because he's alive and fine and can
Why
hold a
could-
phone.
Yeah, why couldn't he do it?
He
Jess?
could.
Yeah. Phew. For a second there, I made it seem like there was some physical reason.
And there isn't.
There isn't one.
Just move on, Matt.
Anyway, so yeah, there's a bunch of fun stuff. Patreon.com/2GoOnPod. But one of the things, if you're on the Sydney Scheinberg level or above, you get to be involved in the Fact, Quote, or Question section, which has a jingle goes something like this.
Fact, quote, or question.
Always remembers the sing. She always remembers the nah.
Yeah.
And if you want to get involved in this, you're on the Sydney Scheinberg level or above. You get to give us a fact, a quote, a question, or a brag, or a suggestion, or really whatever you like.
Anything.
It's
exciting.
Also get to give yourself a title. I read them out for the first time when I read them out. The first one this week comes from Tim Murphy, a.k.a. Regional Sales Manager of Xmas Gifts to Mothers.
Wow.
Would you believe this one was sent in before Christmas?
Okay.
And this one's labelled as a shout-out and request. And it goes a little something like this. Hello, crew. My amazing mother, Barbara from Philadelphia, is a huge fan of the podcast. Well, hello, Barbara.
Hello, Barbara.
Holy moly. She has gotten our entire family listening to this podcast and several other Australian comedy podcasts. Truly, she is your biggest fan. Barbara.
Barbara, stop it.
Stop it.
I'm blushing.
I'm blushing. She is a patron, but we were, for whatever reason, unable to find her shout out. Oh, funnily enough, I can find that for you now. I figured the most logical thing to do was sign up for Fact, Quote, or Question and shout her out myself. Also, a request. Can you give her a horse name generator title style shout out? That way, she will have 2 shout outs as befitting her status of biggest fan. What do you think, Bob? Can you find Barbara from Philadelphia a shout out?
A horse name generated name?
Yeah, let me see if I
100%.
can find if we have missed her.
That's not my preferred horse name. There it is.
There's more than one?
Well, I mean, yeah, this is the one I like. All right.
What do you got?
Okay. What about Rhythmic Whiskey?
Rhythmic Whiskey.
How good is that?
That could be anything.
Rhythmic Whiskey.
What a great name for a cover band.
I was going to say, it sounds like a good band name.
Well, good cover
Band name. Rhythmic Whiskey.
Rhythmic Whiskey.
How good's that?
That's really good. That might be even... Is it possible that's too good?
Oh, do you want me to dumb it down a bit?
No, hang on. I forgot. This is for Barbara.
This is for Barbara.
From
No such thing as too good for Barbara.
Barbara Murphy from Pennsylvania. I've looked her up here. And geez, my system is interesting, but I'll have to figure out. I'm sure she should have been shouted out a while ago.
Right.
So I'll have to carry the two, figure that out. But maybe that'll be coming up on a future episode if it hasn't happened already. Thank you for that reminder, Tim Murphy. Fantastic. A Christmas gift to mothers. Only, 6 to 8 weeks late? Merry Christmas, Barbara. Anyway.
Merry Christmas.
It's an early Christmas present. The next one comes from a Mr. Justin McCain. Plays a silly game. And Justin has got the title of Definitely the Inventor of the Fashion Flip-Flops.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's
well,
good.
I guess we thank you.
Thank you. Yes. I'm wearing them right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I call mine a thong, and I'm wearing it on my butt. And this might be a first time. Justin McCain has given us a riddle. All right, here it is. A cowboy rides into town on Thursday, stays in town for 3 days, then rides out on Friday. How? Cowboy rides into town on Thursday, stays in town for 3 days. I'm guessing the name of the horse is Thursday?
Yeah,
Rides
that's
into
a good
town
one.
on Thursday, stays
For
in
3
town
days.
for-
And then the other horse's name is Friday.
Yeah.
That's good.
And then he says, Matt, read this part aloud, but recognize that this is the break while you let Jess and Dave roast me for being boring and submitting a riddle.
How is that boring? I don't think we've ever had anybody submit a riddle. That's exciting
No.
and fun.
And especially because we got it. That makes us feel
Well,
good.
let's see if we got it. But also, I'm terrible at riddles, so I'm really glad Matt got that quite quickly.
Answer. The horse's name was Friday.
Well
we did it.
done.
Woo!
Oh, yeah. So it doesn't matter the
Yeah.
first horse.
Because,
It might have still been the same horse and
Yeah,
its name was
because
Friday.
because he rode
He still
in
arrived on a...
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Justin McCain. One of our longest supporters. And that I mean he's
Tall.
quite tall. The next one comes from Lauren Joyner, aka, I don't know. This is too much pressure now. I'll stick with my last one. Jurassic Park historian.
Great.
I love to see the workings out. Thank you, Lauren. And Lauren's asking a question, writing, this is inspired by Matt's #paddlegram on Instagram. I am also a big craft beer fan, so I must ask, what is your favorite beer? Style, brewery, whatever. I'm in the States and I've been lucky enough to visit a lot of great spots here, plus live in beer dense areas. Oh, that's a tricky word.
It is a tricky word.
Until you know the context.
That's right.
It could be either.
Could be either.
Schrodinger's word.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Arizona now, and some of my local faves are Arizona Wilderness, Barrio Brewing, and That Brewing. An honourable mention to the OGs, Four Peaks and Santan. Some other favourites include Great Divide in Denver, Golden Road in LA, my hometown, Yards in Philadelphia, Stoop in Seattle, and my all-time favourite brewery, Harpoon in Boston. She's requested you to do that in a Boston accent.
Harpoon. Harpoon.
Harpoon.
Harpoon.
That's built for it. Also, don't dismiss the big guys. Coors in Golden, Colorado is really fun. And international, of course, has to be Guinness. I hope to visit Australia soonich.
Soonich.
So please give me some beer X. Cheers. Wow.
Great. Well, I actually have to lean on you for my favourite beer because I don't remember what it is.
You loved, years ago, you loved that passion fruit Gosa.
Yeah, it's the only beer I've ever liked.
Big Beacon in Brisbane.
Yep. And I've tried I've seen tropical or passion fruit Goza?
Yeah, I think
I've seen those before. I've tried them. No.
Right.
That one was very...
Apart from the Do Goes On.
Oh, that was actually very... no, that's true. That was very nice.
3 different versions of that. I think that they are one of my favourite breweries, Bodrigi here in Melbourne, in Collingwood. And, yeah, one of the brewers listens and is one of our great supporters.
Yeah, and they've come and done, pop-up bars at
really
some events
cool.
for us.
Yeah.
They've been amazing.
James, what a legend.
Yeah.
And he's made us a few very small batch brews.
Yeah.
Each Christmas the last 3 years called Do Goes On. So good. I think you should put it on tap, really.
If there's a demand for it.
But yeah, Bodrigi, I think that'd be right up with my favourites. I think my favourite kind of everyday beer in Melbourne is the Kaiju Crush. It's like a tropical pale.
Oh, yep.
With some great artwork on the can, which I think probably got them going. But yeah, it's a really nice beer. That's the one, if I'm buying a slab of beer, that's probably the one I'd go for. If not one of the Bodrigis, they do a great mid or their IPA. It's like a NEPA. I'm a bit of a basic bitch with beers. I still love hazy beers. But what's it? Cosmic Microwave is a Bodrigi one I really like. It's got a longer name than that. But I think my favourite other brewery in Melbourne's Deeds. It's in Glen Ira. I've never been there actually, but they do limited release ones multiple times a month. I think 2 or 3 times a month, maybe.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, especially their double IPAs and IPAs and their imperial stouts and stuff, which I know. It's funny. I read a list of brewers' overrated beers recently, and so many of the styles that they said, well, I'm like, I love that kind.
Right.
So like for proper brewery people, I'm like a real basic bitch. Yeah.
But you know what? You know what else is basic? Avocado on toast.
Hey, I am what I am.
But
I like most of them. There's not many styles
basic
I don't
just
like.
means widely popular.
That's true. But yeah, I can't really get around wheat beers for some reason. And I don't really like red ales, but pretty much all other styles I like.
I've understood every third word. I love to hear you talk about it because I'm not a beer drinker. I'm barely a drinker now. So yeah.
I drink way less than I used to as well. It's but yeah, that's I guess why I try and drink ones I like when I have them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I'm doing the voiceover at the moment for season 2 of The Beer Pioneer, so hopefully people will be able to see that soon. Film that's over a year ago now, but
yeah, wow.
It's looking really great. can't remember if we put out the promo clip, but I'm like, wow, that looks amazing.
I don't know if we have. We should do.
Yeah. Anyway, that should be, hopefully people will be able to see that soon. Don't know where it's going to land still, but that's not really my call.
Not your problem.
More important people than me working on that show. But thank you so much, Lauren. I don't know if you know this. Don't mind talking about beer.
Don't know if you got that.
And next time, or when our American tour happens, I'm going to have to refer back to those notes about some of your favorite breweries. Went to some really fun ones in Chicago as well. Couldn't tell you the names of them. There was a Mexican one that we went to, which I'm sure I talked about on a bonus episode called Matt Remembers.
Mm-hmm. And boy, did he.
Not anymore. But thank you, Lauren. The next one and the final one this week comes from Matthew Abad, a.k.a. Colonel. First Colonel spelled with a C, second one with a
Oh,
K.
love that.
It's like a corn kernel kernel.
That's fun.
Or a chicken kernel corn kernel. That's what I think the full name would be chicken kernel corn kernel.
Gotcha.
And Matthew is asking a question as well, writing, what is the silliest reason for which you've gone to the hospital? For me, I was about 4 years old and I shoved a popcorn kernel up my nose. After several inhales, the kernel became lodged in my sinus. I went to the hospital and they strapped me into a medical papoose before, what a great word.
Amazing word.
Before extracting the kernel with forceps. When it was finally out, the core temperature of my body had partially popped the kernel. From that point forward, some of my mum's friends called me the Colonel. Salute.
That rules.
What a great story.
That's a really fun story. I can't believe the body temperature was enough to sort of start to pop a popcorn.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's amazing. Touch wood. I haven't been to the hospital much.
Yeah, great.
A few months ago, because I got hit by a car. Not very silly.
Mate, that was so silly.
That was a bit silly.
What are you having up?
CT scan, please. Bit of fun. But I think the only other time I had to go to hospital was when I broke my nose as a 4-year-old. And that was only silly because of the way I broke my nose. And I've probably talked about this at some point. But I was on a trampoline with a bunch of other kids and I wanted to get off, but I didn't want to interrupt anybody else's bouncing. So I thought I'll just jump off.
Oh.
And I jumped off, but I landed head first.
Ouch.
And broke my nose.
That's gotta hurt.
So I'd say that's a little silly. It's sillier than getting hit by a car and cracking a rib.
Yeah, that was really out of your hands.
My rib still hurts. So we're quite confident now that it was cracked and not just bruised.
Right.
So that's fun.
And you can't.
It just takes longer to heal.
Yeah, because you can't plaster them or anything,
Yeah, you
right?
can't do anything for a rib.
You wouldn't have been able to do anything different?
No.
Maybe just rest harder?
Yeah,
for
rest
longer?
more.
Yeah, right. Oh, man.
Bit of fun.
Yeah, that is fun. Hey, look after the cyclists out there.
Yeah, if you don't mind, look out for cyclists.
Yeah.
What about you? Have you gone to a hospital for anything silly?
Probably. Maybe the silliest was because it turned out I didn't need to go. When I was a kid, there was some work being done on our house. And for some reason, there were a lot of planks of wood with the nails still in the backyard in a pile.
Oh dear.
And I was playing on the pile, just like walking up and over the pile and stuff. With thongs on, and I just stepped through a nail. The nail went through my foot, and it was a rusty nail.
Oh, God.
So you worry about tetanus.
Yeah.
And so told my dad. He took me into the emergency room, waited for ages, as you do in there, and then
I got hit by a car. I thought that would trump a few things. But I still waited for 7 hours.
Yeah, you need like a gash on your head probably.
I should have said. They asked if I hit my head. I should have said I don't know.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I said no. I know I didn't hit my head. My helmet's intact, not a scratch on it.
Oh yeah, you were too honest.
I was too honest.
You could have jumped ahead of people who deserved it more than you.
I know. It's bullshit.
But
don't do that if you go to a hospital.
So I finally got in, and then. He's like, oh, what year are you in school or whatever? He's like, oh, your tetanus shot from whatever grade that we have to get is still good. So, we just wasted a few hours.
Great.
So that's probably the silliest reason.
They could have asked that at the reception, maybe.
Yeah, that would have been better.
Would have been good. And then it just would have been a quick patch you up type thing.
Yeah, which I, do yourself.
Yep.
It was a pretty clean. I didn't take any bones or like big blood vessels or anything.
Cool.
So it was just a Band-Aid on the top and the bottom. But Yeah, there was. The other thing I'm sure I've talked about on here before is one time I was up in Brighton in the summer. I was walking down the street. I felt this bug sort of buzzing around my ear, and then I'm like, I think it's gone in my ear. And of course, no one believed me. I'm like, I swear it's in there. And then occasionally I could feel something sort of wriggling around. I'm like, it's in there.
Oh,
it's in there. And I don't think people believe me, but I ended up going to the local hospital, and I reckon that, they didn't seem to, they're like, oh, sure. And then eventually, I can't remember exactly how it went. I probably told it better on this show years ago after it happened, but they were really it was hurting the way they were getting in the ear. And then a second doctor came in, and he seemed to believe me more. And he used this thing, and it sucked out, and you saw it go down the tube.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was...
was it part of your brain, do you reckon?
Yeah, I think it was.
Did he suck out part of your brain?
He sucked off part of my brain.
That makes sense now.
It felt really good.
A lot of you make sense now.
So I guess that was kind of silly.
Yeah. None of it's silly.
Yeah,
painful, actually.
The kernel, popping your own kernels.
That's
pretty
awesome.
Fun. Thank you so much for those, Matthew, Lauren, Justin, and Tim. Another thing we like to do is thank you for our other great Patreon supporters. Now, Jess, you normally come up with a game based on the topic at hand.
That's true. What game could we have for this one?
Yeah, Bye. There was the name Bye, like a name,
like a nickname.
A nickname that is pretty obscure from one thing they did once. Oh, you left that time early. That's why we call you Bye.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. Obscure nickname.
Should we go one for one?
Yep.
All right. I'll kick us off by thanking from Griffith in New South Wales, Australia, Hannah Longeran.
Door.
Yeah, door, because that one time she knocked on the door and they're like, you can just come in.
Just open it, idiot.
This is your place.
Let's call her Door.
Oh, door.
So Hannah is Door.
Hannah Door Longeran.
That's good stuff.
That's pretty good.
I like people that meet Hannah, like through mutual friends and stuff, go years without realizing that their first name is Hannah.
Yes. They're
It's
like,
just
wait,
Door.
I thought your name was Doreen.
My sister-in-law was, when she started dating my brother, like 20 years ago, called the landline at our house, and my dad answered, and then she realized that she didn't actually know my brother's first name, and she had to hang up the phone because she just called him Perko because that's what all of his friends called him.
Yes.
And so then she had to call a friend and be like, what's Perko's first name? And they went, Michael. And then she had to call back again. She'd been dating this guy, didn't know his first name.
That's so
incredible
funny.
stuff. Okay, my turn.
Perko's catchy. Could be a first name. What's your surname? Perkins. Perkins.
Perko Perkins, bloody
What
hell.
are the odds of that?
Okay, I would love to thank from Finland.
Ooh.
Isn't that exciting? From Turku in Finland, Juso Lane.
Juso Lane.
Apologies if we're saying that wrong.
Juso Lane is so good. I'm going to say pot.
Pot,
Yeah.
like that.
Because one time at a party, they came in the down the side gate. It
Yeah.
wasn't very well lit. And just before coming into the courtyard, tripped on a pot plant.
Oh my God.
Stumbled a bit. You recovered.
Yeah.
Didn't hit the ground or
But
anything.
everyone saw.
Everyone saw it. Hey, oh, watch
Pot.
out, pot. There we go, pot.
That's good stuff.
That's pretty good. And that makes me think of a mistake I make in next week's episode. With a Triptych Club member, I said SE, that must be Switzerland. It was Sweden. So something to look out for next week.
Yep.
We've recorded next week's episode just before this. The scheduling thing doesn't matter.
Don't worry about it.
It doesn't actually affect you unless you're unless of course your name is Daniel Kellen. Little sizzle there for next week.
It's
Daniel.
exciting.
Maybe you're going to get inducted into a certain club. I think we're losing it. They're probably giving a little bit away knowing that we've done 2 episodes back to back and are having coffees.
Yeah.
We're getting
We're getting
silly now.
We're getting a bit loopy.
I'd love to thank from St. John's, speaking of hospitals, in Canada. It's Joanne.
Joanna.
Goanna. But it's not even...
I know, it's Joanne.
Yeah.
But see, one time there was this like friend of a friend kind of joined this group at a party, and nobody in the group really liked this guy very much. But they were all trying to be polite. You know, it was a friend of a friend. And he, you know, it was sort of a loud party. And Joanne said, "Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Joanne." And he went, "Goanna?" And Joanne said, "No, Joanne." And that just sort of became a bit of a... It's really a joke more at that guy's expense.
Yes.
But Joanne's friend group have called her Goanna ever since.
Joanne has to take that around with her.
Yeah.
Brutal stuff.
I would love to thank from Bangor in New South Wales, here in Australia, Emma Arnold.
Emma Arnold, of course, has the nickname Screener.
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 Oh, I like that.
Yeah, because she, through work, got an early DVD version of The Gladiator.
Okay.
A screener.
Yes.
And she was...
Like a screening type thing.
Yeah, you call it a screener, I think. And, you know, it's got the watermark of the studio over it and says, this is Emma Arnold's copy, so they know if you leak it or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, Emma mentioned it once to a friend. Said, what are you doing later? Oh, I'm going home to watch Gladiator. I got a screener. It's this new Ridley Scott, I think, movie. This guy, Russell Crowe's in it. Should be interesting. And her other friends who were meeting them for lunch overheard her say that. So, okay, screener.
Screener.
You got a screener, do
we? You think you're so good seeing movies before. A screener.
Here we go. Yeah, Hollywood. Hollywood's on the
friends.
phone. Yeah, I think so. All these friends.
These friends all suck. But also, I just think anytime you explain the origin of a nickname, it never comes off super well. You know?
Where did Perko come from?
That is complex.
Yes. That's one of the rare good stories. Okay, so is it up to me? I think it is up to me.
Yes.
And can I thank from Weichschlag in Deutschland? It's Katharina.
Okay. Nickname Sia.
Sia.
One time, Katharina went for like a change up the hair.
Yeah.
Thought, I'm going to get bangs. But the bangs were a bit too long, sort of just covering the eyes type thing. Went to the friends like, what do you think? And they were like, no, it's good. It's great. It's really good. I mean, you look like Sia.
Yeah.
And
that's a compliment.
That's a compliment. Sia's a fantastic songwriter and performer.
Yeah.
But the hairstyle, you know.
And then later, when she went to leave later on, they said, anyway, see you later.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It stuck.
It's
That's
stuck.
where it locked in.
That's where it really locked in.
Funny stuff.
It's good stuff.
Funny stuff. Katharina's friends.
Yeah.
No, honestly, that's good stuff.
Good on
Katharina's friends. Good on you.
Next, I would like to thank somebody from deep within the Fortress of the Moles.
Ooh.
We can only assume the other way around. Address unknown. We can only assume deep within the Fortress of the Moles. I would love to thank Nathan L.
Oh, Nathan L. The Body. Because Nathan is a bit secretive about the surname, and someone pushed him for it, and Nathan's like, it's just L. Just I don't want to give it. It's just L. And they're like, oh, like L McPherson, The Body, and it stuck from then on. And he's like, sure,
whatever. Because if that means you'll stop pushing me to know my surname, fine. Call me the body. I don't care.
As long as you're not like, sizzling towards what you're going to do and kill me, and then I'll be a body. Yeah. As long as
that's not it.
Can I just get a photo? We'll take a photo with you and me, and I'm going to send this to all my friends saying if I turn up dead soon,
it's this person.
Yeah. Suspect numero uno, which is, I think, Italian for number one.
What's happening?
That's a longish message.
I want to go.
Well, then we should probably pick it up a bit. Could I thank from Win Malley in New South Wales, Australia, Ashley England.
Governor. Self-explanatory, really, isn't it?
Ashley England. All right, Governor. Hello, Governor. It's the Governor.
Yeah.
I'm actually from New South Wales, Ashley would say.
That's a good Australian accent.
Thank you.
That was really good.
Studying it, yeah.
You could do that.
All right, Governor. Sure you are, Governor.
All right, Governor.
All right. Cup of tea, Governor. Want a bicky, Governor? Do you want a bicky, Governor? Jeez, Ashley. Nightmare friends.
Awful friends. Sorry about them. I would also like to thank from Lincoln, Nebraska. Had to look that up. NE. I was like, New England?
Lincoln, Nebraska. That's where the Corn Eaters are from. I'm pretty sure that's where Jim Carrey goes in Yes Man with Zoe Deschanel.
Well, I would love to thank Drew Allen.
Drew Allen.
Oh, it is where they go. Where they
Yeah.
just turn up at the airport for the next flight.
Yeah, and they're in the crowd. That's great. I love it. Lincoln, Nebraska. Drew Allen has the nickname of Stork. And I guess I'm thinking that because of corn. And does corn grow on stalks? Do you get a stalk of corn?
An ear of corn.
An ear of corn with a husk.
Corn stalks.
Yeah,
Yeah, that could be a thing, I guess.
all right. So, but anyway, this isn't that. This is because until Drew was older than he should have been, 24, he thought birds delivered babies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
that would be quite a mind-blowing thing to learn late.
Yes, and because Drew kind of played it off like I was joking,
Yeah.
but it was clear
It was
that
very
Drew
clear.
was not joking.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's a safe space.
On your stalk.
Is it me? No, you.
And finally, from, once again, address unknown, can only assume from deep within the fortress of the moles, it's Jacinta G.
Jacinta G. Lamp.
Lamp. Yeah, lamp.
But it's actually quite a nice one because Jacinta really lights up a room.
Yes, and they think she's very bright.
Very bright.
It's a non-ironic nickname,
Yeah.
which is what they do in the Fortress of the Moles, which is funny because moles normally like to live in the dark. But Jacinta, with Jacinta's aura,
Yeah.
lights up a room.
Lights up a room.
I say G because it just says Jacinta from address unknown,
Yeah.
but the email address suggests the
It might be
surname
G.
might be G.
So we're just trying to help you out a little bit there.
Thank you so much to Jacinta, Drew, Ashley, Nathan, Katharina, Emma, Joanne, Juso, and Hannah. And I should also say, yeah, if you do have address unknown, you're like, why is that? That's because you've selected do not let these weirdos know my address.
Yeah.
And that's also why you wouldn't have got the Christmas cards over recent years.
Yeah.
If you're wondering, perhaps that's exactly how you want it.
Mhm.
Anyway, thank you to all of you. The last thing we need to do is welcome a few people into the Trip Ditch Club. And we're going to do that right now. Jess, explain it to me again. What is this?
The Trip Ditch Club is a exclusive club for people who support the show on the shout out level. No, just support the show for 3 consecutive years.
Yeah, shout out level or
Yep,
above.
yep. We welcome you in. There's a band, there's a bar, there's anything you could possibly want. We just got pool tables.
Oh, it's so
Pretty
good.
cool.
I play better after a couple of beers.
I play worse. And yeah, so we welcome you in. Matt lifts the rope. He reads your name out. We hype you up. I've actually booked a band. I've taken over booking the band while Dave's away. And crazy, I've actually booked a synth pop artist called Roosevelt.
Oh, that's so good.
Isn't that crazy?
I didn't know you were booking because I've actually also booked an act.
Shit, who have you got?
Well, Alice in Chains.
Oh.
So I don't know if their vibes will really connect, but
maybe they could play at the same time.
yours is more relevant though, because Alice in Chains doesn't have anything to do with this episode. That's just a band that I booked.
Yeah, but you can't just like cancel them
Wait,
now.
hang on. What was her name?
Alice.
Ah.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah, I've only just got that.
Isn't that funny?
Wow.
Both of you. So I booked a band called Alice in Chains, and you booked Roosevelt.
Yeah.
That is weird.
That is crazy.
I'm getting tingles.
Oh, one of those strange coincidences.
Yeah,
I
beautiful
love when that
coincidence, though.
happens.
Sometimes things just come together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm behind the bar. I've got food and drinks going.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
obviously, the Roosevelts are a wealthy family.
Mhm.
Alice's mother's family is very wealthy as well. So I've gone for rich people food.
Okay.
I'm talking caviar.
Yeah.
I'm talking lobster.
All right.
I'm talking-
How you cooking the lobster?
Put it in a pot.
Yeah. And
Pot
what
of
do you
hot
do?
water, I guess.
Hot water.
Oh, no.
Oh no. Oh no. Have you
Oh,
checked on
no.
it? Have you checked on it
It's
lately?
the same burner,
Oh
too.
no, Jess, did you
Fuck,
forget?
I forgot.
Oh.
I thought it was bottom right. It's bottom left. That's too
Oh,
hot.
that one. Yeah, that only has 2 functions: off or a billion degrees.
Oh, fuck.
Oh man.
That lobster died so quick.
Yeah. You know, if there is a positive to come out of this.
Yeah. So I guess that's good, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. The caviar might also be too hot, but we'll see how we go.
You've boiled the caviar.
Well, no, I just warmed it a little, I thought. But
Where?
on the stove.
Oh, no.
On the front left.
What's its temperature currently?
Oh, hang on. I'll get the thermometer out. Hang on. It should be. Maybe it's fine. Maybe it's fine. I just wanted it slightly. Oh, no. Oh, no.
What is it?
72 degrees.
Oh, my God. That's too hot.
Celsius.
That's too hot for caviar.
It's way too hot. You're going to burn your mouth.
Oh, my God. Maybe you could leave it out to cool?
I'll try, but it might take a while. It's really hot in this kitchen.
Can you check the temperature again? What's happened
Hang on,
since
let's
it's been
see.
cooled?
80. It's up to 80.
It's going up.
It's going up.
What's happening?
I don't know how.
Well,
It's about to boil.
Oh
It's going
my
to be
God.
boiled caviar.
I don't know what to
I
do.
keep ruining everything. I think we shut the bar down.
We got to get
I don't
rid
think the
of
bar
this
can exist
stove.
anymore. It's no good. We need more people to join the Patreon so we can buy a new stove.
Any drinks?
Yeah, just champagne.
Okay, great.
Rich people stuff.
Probably chilling on ice.
Oh yeah, it's nice. Yeah,
fantastic.
it's fine.
Brilliant. Well, that means it's time to welcome in. We got 4 inductees this week.
Okay, how about I read them and you hype them?
Okay, that's normally Dave's job.
I know,
big
but-
shoes to fill.
Well,
I'll
fairly
not-
little shoes.
I'll do my best.
Okay, do
Bit
you
of
want...
weak wordplay.
Yeah.
You're on the door. You're welcoming them in, and I'm hyping them. That's a good sign.
Yeah,
The fact that I can't get through the word welcoming.
I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so first and foremost, please let me welcome in from address unknown, deep within the fortress of the moles. Please welcome in John Wick.
John Wick. Oh, I'm going to light your wick and you're going to burn bright like a candle. John Wilk, welcome in, Johnny
Welcome,
Wick.
John Wilk. I would also love to welcome
There's nothing else to say about a guy named John Wick.
from Port Macquarie in New South Wales. It's Lord James and Lady Paula Smith.
Or a
It's a
couple
lot to
of
work with there.
members of Sealandia, I think.
Oh.
You are my lady and my lord, the best in the biz. You can port my quarry any day. And make yourselves at home.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, this is hard.
Welcome
This is hard
in
to
from
do.
Chicago, Illinois. It's Benjamin Montema.
Oh, from Chicago. Let's make it rain Spenjamins.
Yes.
Which is a word for money.
Money. Woo!
Montema, first 3 letters are the same as the first 3 letters in money.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, you're having a big party.
And from Mitcham in Victoria, please welcome in Steph Kendall.
Mitch ham, more like a lovely Bataki ham that we can share with you because we're so glad for you to be here. Steph Kendall.
Yes.
Steph Kend all the time is having a good time.
Yes.
Steph.
Well done.
Actually, I really brought it home strong
It's
there.
very easy.
Welcome in. Make yourselves at home. Just give can we get a quick temperature check on the caviar?
It's 120.
Oh my God, it's going up exponentially.
It's not good.
Please.
I think we might need to evacuate.
Okay.
This club.
All right, Steph, Benjamin, James, Paula, and John, make yourselves at home, but be ready. We may need to evacuate soon.
Please familiarise yourselves with the emergency exits.
They're 2 behind you. All right, that brings us to the end of the episode. What a fun time it has been.
And a long time. Here's what I want to say. That if you enjoyed this episode, if it reminded you of somebody else through history that you've heard about once and gone, oh yeah, that's a fun life, tell us about it.
Yeah.
Let us make a report about it.
Keeping it to yourself.
Put it in the hat.
That's selfish.
There's a link in the show notes to suggest a topic. Anybody can as well. You don't have to be a Patreon, or you can find it on our website, which is dogoonpod.com, which is also where you'll find information about upcoming live shows like our comedy festival show. And you can find us on social media at dogoonpod as well. But until next week, thank you so much. And
thank you to our great editor, AJ.
We love you, AJ. Thank you so much, and goodbye.
Later.
Bye.